Chapter 1021 The Gate of Eternity. Xiao Yu, since you don't admit defeat, then let you see my true strength. The ancestral monument god general ranking is nothing at all, and it does not show my true strength. The slaughtering spirit roared wildly, and immediately the aura of a 9-star peak god general burst out, and it was not an ordinary 9-star peak god general, but a 9-star peak god general that was very close to a 10-star god general. This 9-star peak god general even has a chance to step into the 10-star god general, but this step is not so easy to cross, even though countless treasures in the battlefield relics have been born, but the slaughtering spirit is only a god general and is not qualified to participate in the battlefield ruins. Opportunity is in contention. Of course, as the real top genius of the Chaos Life Alliance, and a descendant of Taoist ancestors, he naturally received the greatest training from the Chaos Life Alliance, but the time was limited, so he could not enter the ranks of the 10-star gods in a short time. But Ling Ling is very confident in his own strength. Even if he encounters other 9-star peak god generals, he has full confidence to defeat them. After slaughtering spirit broke out 29 times the strength of the 9-star peak god general, he immediately used a chaotic strange item, and his strength skyrocketed again. Then, a top-quality chaos treasure that increased his strength was suspended above the head of slaughtering spirit, making his aura grow a little bit again. It is very difficult for a 9-star peak god to use a half-Dao device and a Dao device, otherwise it would be very easy for Slaughter to get a Dao device. One by one, the supreme chaotic treasures were motivated by slaughtering spirit, and slaughtering spirit used the heavenly Lin divine body, which belonged to the heavenly Lin beast family, and the aura of the whole person suppressed everything like an endless sea. In this state, slaughtering spirit is simply extremely powerful. The true monarchs and even the incarnations of Taoist ancestors who were concerned about this battle showed a little surprise, apparently surprised by the strength of slaughtering spirit. Looking at the 9-star peak god generals in the history of chaos, slaughter spirit is definitely enough to rank first. Slaying spirit is so powerful, Xiao Yu's chances of winning are not great. Some true monarchs murmured. Obviously, they are not optimistic about Xiao Yu. Slaughtering spirit held a god-killing spear and killed Xiao Yu with one strike. Big slaughter magic. This is a powerful chaotic supernatural power that ranked 10th in the previous chaotic supernatural power list, and the top powers hardly have such chaotic supernatural powers, and only transcendental forces have such chaotic supernatural power inheritance. The terrifying spear glow seems to be able to kill everything, even other 9-star peak god generals. If they don't have enough enchanting means, they can't stop this move at all. After all, with so many boosts, this blow was even more terrifying than the full-strength blow of some 10-star generals. Opposite, Xiao Yu calmly stimulated the strange objects to increase her own strength. As Yi Tian's wife, she naturally does not lack these strange objects, so comparing the treasures, she will definitely not be weaker than killing spirit. Would you like to reveal your full strength? Xiao Yu had presented this idea before, but in the face of a mere 9-star peak god general, she felt that she did not need to reveal her full strength, otherwise, once her strength was known to the enemy, she would be easily targeted. No one knows how many trump cards those gods will have, and if the incarnations of Taoist ancestors are willing to pay any price, no matter how strong she is, she may be severely damaged or even defeated. Therefore, she must hide her strength and not let others see her full strength, at least not now. Then use that magic power. Xiao Yu thought in her heart. An ancient stone gate appeared in front of Xiao Yu, protecting her and blocking the spirit-killing magic. Boom! Shimon stood still, but the blow of the great slaughter technique broke apart. How is this possible? Many true monarchs were dumbfounded. That is the great slaughter technique, the terrifying chaos divine ability that is even more powerful than the great destruction technique, and coupled with the increase in the strength of the slaughtering spirit to such an unimaginable level, the power of this blow is simply terrifying to the extreme. Unexpectedly, a small stone gate blocked the great slaughter magic. True monarchs have good eyesight, and naturally they can see that Shimon is not a treasure, but a magical power. But they have never seen this chaotic supernatural power, but they are very clear that this chaotic supernatural power is definitely not a supernatural power at the top of the chaotic supernatural power list, at least not a known powerful chaotic supernatural power. Soon, someone guessed the origin of this chaotic supernatural power. It should be the chaotic supernatural power of the domain. Some true monarch guessed. The realm is very strong. Although it is only a world, it is a world that surpasses the realm of Tao, even stronger than their realm. Many chaotic supernatural powers have been unearthed on the battlefield ruins, many of which are more powerful than the slaughter magic, but those chaotic supernatural powers are difficult to cultivate. Most importantly, they lack the fusion talent needed to cultivate such terrifying chaotic supernatural powers. At this time, a voice came from the void, and it was the voice of a Taoist incarnation. That should be the gate of eternity. It can be regarded as one of the top 100 chaotic supernatural powers in the realm of the gods. This chaotic supernatural power requires the fusion talent of super god level life talent, super god level space talent, and super god level defense talent eternal 310 talent. As soon as these words came out, the audience was shocked. Eternal talent. This is a fusion of 3 super god level talents, 3 super god level talents, not 2 super god level talents. Impossible, there is no treasure in our realm that can combine 3 kinds of talents into 1 kind of talent. How could Xiao Yu have such a combination of talents? What we can't do with our supernatural forces, how can she do it? That's right, our transcendental forces didn't get this kind of treasure in the battlefield ruins, why is she? It should be the treasure obtained by Daozi Wanfa. The fusion of the 3 kinds of talents is extremely rare in the realm, but it does not mean that it does not exist. The 4 transcendental forces entered the field a little later, and Daozi Wanfa obtained it in the battlefield ruins. The benefits are beyond the imagination of ordinary people, and it is not impossible to have such treasures. It is just that he never imagined that he would be willing to give such treasures to his wife. The Taoist ancestors and the true monarchs did not shy away from Yi Tian. Although Yi Tian heard it, he didn't say anything. And in the ring, the competition is still going on. Once, Yin Shimo took the initiative to attack Killing Spirit, and Killing Spirit turned against the defending side. Chapter 1022 The Eternal 3 Supernatural Powers. Xiao Yu has practiced the Gate of Eternity, which does not mean that he has only practiced this magical power. There are countless supernatural powers in the realm, and among them there are many supernatural powers that defy the sky. Yi Tian's cultivation level is too high now, and he cannot despise the mere chaotic supernatural powers, so he assists Xiao Yu to practice these supernatural powers. With Yi Tian's help, Xiao Yu can easily bestow various talents, not to mention 3 fusion talents, even 4 fusion talents, it is only a matter of time. For example, the Gate of Eternity is a top-notch defensive chaotic supernatural power, which is extremely famous in the realm of the gods. The Gate of Eternity, the Spear of Eternity, and the Eternal Golden Light are also known as the 3 eternal magical powers, and Yi Tian just obtained the inheritance of these 3 chaos magical powers and gave them to Xiao Yu one by one. Today, Xiao Yu has all mastered the 3 chaotic supernatural powers, namely the Gate of Eternity, the Spear of Eternity, and the Eternal Golden Light, but it is a pity that the gods cannot cultivate the supernatural powers of chaos to the entry level, let alone cultivate them to a higher realm. If Xiao Yu was a heavenly monarch, with the help of a heavenly soul pill, it would be enough to cultivate all these 3 chaotic supernatural powers to the limit level. Because of this, it was a waste of opportunity to refine Xiao Yu, who was at the level of God, to refine a heavenly soul pill. However, one person can refine 9 heavenly soul pills in one lifetime, even if it is a bit of a waste, it is not serious. Now, Xiao Yu's attack on Slaughtering Spirit is the magic power of the Spear of Eternity to attack chaos. On the ring, an eternal spear exuding endless divine might condensed in an instant, turned into a golden light, and stabbed at Killing Spirit. Under the lock of the Spear of Eternity, Slaughter Spirit shivered. This is a real big crisis. Puff. The Spear of Eternity pierced through Killing Ling's body, but under the life-saving things, Killing Ling was not killed, but was injured. Seeing that the Spear of Eternity did not kill Ling, Xiao Yu also sighed. If the life-saving things are restricted, her attack this time is enough to kill the Slaughter Spirit in seconds. But treasures are also a kind of strength and heritage. The 4 transcendent forces cannot prohibit life-saving things, and some gods who rely on treasures to become famous cannot prohibit treasures. Otherwise, everyone does not need to compete for strength, and directly use the ranking of the ancestral monument to determine the strength. Slaughtering Spirit was pierced through the body by the Spear of Eternity, and the whole person is also the rest of his life, no longer hiding his treasures, one by one attacking one-time treasures are urged. These one-time treasures do not contain the power of other powerhouses, otherwise they are not allowed to be used. The power of these treasures is completely the power of the weapon itself. Although such a killing weapon is not very powerful, it is still for the 9-star peak god general. Very deterrent. What's more, the one-time big killer brought out by disciples of transcendental forces like Slaughtering Spirit is naturally the real top killer, and the value of a big killer is no less than a half weapon. Shish. 3 big killers came in an instant, as if blocking Xiao Yu's escape space. But in an instant, Xiao Yu cast the Eternal Golden Light, broke the blockade at an unimaginable speed, and avoided 3 big killers. This scene completely shocked countless real monarchs and Taoist incarnations. After all, from a normal point of view, even a 10-star god general might not be able to avoid such a big killer, but Xiao Yu avoided 3 big killers with the strength of a 9-star peak. It can be seen from this that the power of the chaotic supernatural power of the eternal golden light is much stronger than the chaotic supernatural power of the void movement technique in terms of speed. As time passed, soul killing was completely suppressed, and there was no way to fight back. At this time, many people really realized the power of the top chaotic supernatural powers in the realm of the gods in heaven, and even some heavenly monarchs and true monarchs were thinking about whether they should spend a lot of money to cultivate a realm chaotic supernatural power. I surrender. On the ring, Killing Ling suddenly said. He didn't want to admit defeat either, but he couldn't do it if he didn't admit defeat. The life-saving things on his body have been consumed a lot, and some of the life-saving things are very rare among the transcendental forces, and it is difficult to replenish. If he continues to fight, his life-saving things will definitely be exhausted, and he may even be killed. But even if he is not killed, but the life-saving things on his body are exhausted, the battle behind him will be more difficult. At this moment, he truly realized that there were many gods stronger than him in the chaos, and he was not qualified to be arrogant. Killing Ling conceded defeat, which meant that Xiao Yu won the first place in the third group with Bai Shang. Of course, the first place and the second place are of little practical use, but at least in the third round, they can match weaker opponents, so that they will not play against the first place in other groups at the beginning, which is the only benefit. It didn't take long for the third group's competition to end, and the second place went to Killing Spirit. Then, the competitions of other groups also ended one by one. With the end of this round, a total of 100 gods will advance to the next round. But other gods will still have a chance to challenge, but at least the 100 gods with strength close to them are eligible to challenge, so the loser group played another game, and a total of 100 gods were qualified to challenge. However, there will be only 6 gods who will truly challenge success. At this point, the 100 gods who will advance to the next round of competition have finally been determined. At this time, the incarnation of Lunfeng Daozu appeared. The 100 gods who have qualified for the next round of competition, you should have been curious about how many places there are in the talent pool. Now I can tell you that there are about 10 places in total. Born, and slowly accumulated energy to have so many places. Therefore, each place is extremely precious. After Lunfeng Daozu finished speaking, the 100 generals looked nervous. Everyone wants to get a place in the talented ancestor pool. Once they get this place, they will definitely hope to become the real top big man in this realm in this era in the future. Through the forces behind them, they are very aware of the importance of Dao-level natural talent, which is no less than the opportunity to become a Dao ancestor, and even far exceeds the opportunity to become a Dao ancestor. For the talent pool's place, they can do whatever it takes, and even to a certain extent, they are willing to self-destruct part of their potential. After all, good enough, once you enter the talent pool, the potential can definitely be easily made up for. There are 100 god generals competing for only 10 places. It can be said that the competition is huge. But anyway, everyone has a chance. Because from the current level of strength, among the 100 god generals present, the lowest strength all possess the strength of the late 9-star god general, and the strongest is only the 9-star peak god general. But in fact, everyone knows very well that there are definitely 10-star generals among these gods, but everyone hides their strengths, and it is not easy to reveal their strengths until the end. In the expectation of everyone, Lunfeng Daozu announced the way of the last round of competition. For the sake of fairness and justice, all 100 people need to fight against General Shen one by one battle, 9 games, the winner will be determined by the number of games. This announcement represents the arrival of the most exciting round of the battle for the talent pool quota, and also represents the arrival of a series of tragic battles. Chapter 1023 3 Dark Horses. At this point in the battle for the talent pool quota, almost no gods were willing to give up the game. It can even be said that almost every game in the last round is a life and death fight. Although everyone needs to fight against the other 99 opponents, the first place in each group will never fight at the beginning, and will definitely fight at the end. In this case, the first place in each group has an absolute advantage, and the hope of getting a place is great. If each group fights first in advance, it will even cause the gods who had hoped to get the quota to be severely damaged or even fall in advance. Because of this, the number 1 in each group will not meet in advance, which is also one of the benefits of being number 1 in the group. No one has an opinion on this practice. After all, others have worked so hard to win the first place in the group. If there is no good treatment, then it is abnormal. Soon, the final round of the game was played. All the famous generals came on stage and started their first game. Xiao Yu's opponent was not strong, ranking at the back of the 100 gods, but the opponent had no intention of admitting defeat. However, all in vain. Although Xiao Yu didn't have all her strength, she easily won the first game by relying on the strength of the peak of 9 stars and 1 or 2 chaotic 310 supernatural powers. In the next time, one game after another went on. Most of the matches and battles were expected, but a few gods were rising like dark horses, and their performances were completely different from the previous matches. One is the divine general of Samsara from the Forbidden Temple, the other is the divine general of the deserted universe from Daoshan, and the other is the divine general of Ice Rain from the Giant Axe City. These three gods were only the second or third in the previous group stage, but now they all showed their terrifying strength, and even killed the second and third strongest players in other groups with ease, and they hardly showed all of them. Strength. This kind of strength is even more terrifying than the first-seeded players of the previous detached forces. It can be seen that these people are hiding their strength, and they are the real cards of the detached forces and secretly cultivate geniuses. Especially the reincarnation god general, who is proficient in divine soul attack, can obliterate other divine generals silently, and several divine generals who fought with him have their souls severely injured, and even one person died directly. And the power of the god general of the Wild Yu is very terrifying, but he has a rare power-type special physique, the Wild God Body. CJFI. This kind of physique is enough to make a person's strength reach a terrifying level, and combined with a powerful body refining technique of Shengdao Mountain, the barbaric body refining technique, this will allow the god of the Wild Yu to have power far beyond that of other gods. Combined with the power-type chaotic supernatural power and various treasures, it is enough to exert terrifying power, and it can even break all spells with one punch. And the power of the Ice Rain god is the supernatural power. She has mastered a powerful and even ice-free realm from the realm of the gods. This supernatural power is extremely powerful, and in combination with her ice and snow holy body, it can increase the power of supernatural powers, so her ice-free realm is at least twice as powerful as the ice-free realm developed by others. The gods who fought against the Bingyu gods were all frozen, and they couldn't break the frozen state. Although they didn't die, they lost the game. But the most terrifying among the three belong to the gods of reincarnation. The other gods would rather meet the gods of Wangyu and Bingyu than the gods of reincarnation, because if they fight against gods of reincarnation, it will be either a heavy blow or a heavy blow. Falling is simply too dangerous. In addition to these three dark horses, the number one of the 10 little ancestors is not weak. As everyone fought for a dozen or two games, the progress of the subsequent games accelerated a lot, because many gods who were injured in battles would not want to fight again once they encountered stronger gods, but chose to admit defeat. Prepare for the battle that follows. And Xiao Yu's strength is enough to rank in the top 10, so many gods will directly admit defeat when they encounter Xiao Yu, which makes Xiao Yu less likely to reveal her strength. But with the passage of time, the strong and the strong will eventually confront each other. Soon, Xiao Yu ushered in one of her powerful opponents, the first place in the 6th group, God General Luo Yu. God General Luo Yu is also a 9-star peak God General, and a God General of the God of War Pagoda. The reason why it is said that the status is second only to Goddess Yunzi is because the master of Goddess Luo Yu is not as good as Goddess Yunzi, otherwise Goddess Luo Yu will be no worse than Goddess Yunzi. But in terms of strength, God General Luo Yu is probably stronger than Goddess Yunzi, because God General Luo Yu's fighting talent is too terrifying, as if he was born to fight. He doesn't have any powerful trump cards, but his fighting will is too terrifying, and his use of various secret techniques far exceeds that of other gods, as if he has fought for countless years. In terms of fighting talent and skills, Xiao Yu is indeed inferior to the opponent. But in terms of strength, no one is optimistic about Luo Yu's generals, because Luo Yu's generals don't have many trump cards. Of course, without a real fight, all speculation is in vain. Soon, the battle between the two began. At the beginning of the battle, Xiao Yu crushed Luo Yu, but Luo Yu's fighting talent was too high, and he blocked Xiao Yu's attack for a while. But as Xiao Yu's family of chaotic supernatural powers attacked, the victorious Libra began to favor Xiao Yu. Stable. Seeing this, Yi Tian murmured in his heart. Not to mention that Luo Yu is only a peak 9-star general, Yi Tian is very confident in his wife's strength even if the opponent has the combat power of a 10-star general. The two sides are not at all a level of gods. The foundation of the Giant Axe City is not as good as that of the 4 detached forces, so Luo Yu's trump card is not very powerful, and there is only one big killing weapon which can't help Xiao Yu at all. Therefore, in the end, Luo Yu Shen will lose and admit defeat. He didn't even dare to continue fighting, fearing that his injuries would be too heavy, his whole cards would consume the price, and he wouldn't be able to beat others later. Anyway, there are 10 places. If you only lose a few games, you can still get 1 place. Day by day, the strength of the 100 divine generals was almost revealed at this time, but the number of fallen divine generals reached 10, showing how tragic the battle was. And the best among these gods are undoubtedly Samsara gods, Bingyu gods, Wangyu gods, plus Xiaoyu, cold-blooded gods, Wuyun gods, Hongyun gods, Baohu gods. As for Luoyu, the gods who were the first in the group were defeated again and again, and they were completely different from the top ones. But until the last moment, no one knew who the 10 places belonged to. Chapter 1024 The Strength Explodes, the Battle of the 10-Star Generals. In the following games, Xiaoyu still maintained a strong road to victory, defeating the top-ranking generals in each group one by one, and in the end there were only 7 games left to play. And the remaining 7 gods are all powerful, and the strength displayed is not weaker than Xiaoyu. But Xiaoyu is very clear that the remaining 7 gods are not simple, and it is very likely that they are all 10-star gods. Finally, Xiaoyu ushered in another powerful opponent, a red-voiced general who was as impressive as Xiaoyu's record. The Red Sound God General is good at sonic supernatural power attacks, and his body is transformed into the power of sound waves. Before Luo Yushin would fight against the Red Sound God General, he didn't hurt the Red Sound God General at all, so he had no choice but to admit defeat and lose. From this, it can be seen that the strange power of the Red Sound God General. Xiaoyu and Hong Yinshen will play. From the very beginning, the Red Sound God General turned into a shadowless and invisible state, and it was difficult for the divine sense to capture the Red Sound God General's figure. Boom! A sonic attack penetrated the layers of void and attacked Xiaoyu. This kind of invisible attack, such as non-ordinary sonic attack, is difficult to defend, and even the best chaos treasure can hardly weaken the sonic attack, unless it is some treasure specially aimed at sonic attack. It can effectively defend against the sonic attack of the Red General. In an instant, Xiaoyu felt that countless cells in her body were shattered by a strange sound wave force, and her internal organs were shattering all the time. However, Xiaoyu also practiced the chaotic supernatural power of the Blood River Immortality technique, so he recovered quickly with almost no damage. Isn't it a big deal? The Red Sound God General saw that his chaotic supernatural power called the Infinite Sonic Technique had nothing to do with Xiaoyu, so he couldn't help but be a little dignified. Before, when she used this move to deal with Luo Yu's Divine General, she instantly injured him, and the injury caused to him was not light. But Xiaoyu will be able to use the Blood River Immortality technique, and her recovery ability is terrible. Even if she casts the Infinite Speed of Sound technique many times, she will not be able to inflict heavy damage on Xiaoyu. I can't hide my strength. Xiaoyu is not a Divine General of Luo Yu, and Divine General Luo Yu is just a monster in battle talent, but his other methods are mediocre, and Xiaoyu is perfect in every aspect. With the strength of a 9-star peak Divine General, it is impossible. Defeat it. Red Sound God General thought to himself. So, she no longer hides her strength. Boom! An incomparably violent aura erupted from the Red Sound God General, which was completely beyond the aura and power of the 9 stars peak God General. 10-star God General. Countless true monarchs were moved. A 10-star God General is not an ordinary God General. A 10-star God General is enough to be worth 10 9-star peak God Generals. More importantly, the 10-star gods will even have a high chance of becoming a Taoist ancestor by themselves in the future, without resorting to some other treasures such as ancestral monuments. It can be said that the Taoist ancestors achieved by the 10-star gods have great potential. In the chaos, those 3rd level or 4th level Taoist ancestors are the real geniuses who have been promoted to 10-star gods, while the future potential of 9-star peak gods is limited. Most of them are the 2nd level heavenly Tao ancestors. This is the gap between the 9-star peak God General and the 10-star God General. And in this realm, in a big era, there is not necessarily a 10-star god who will be born. At least the true monarchs present have not heard of a new 10-star God General for a long time, but the Red Sound God General has become a 10-star God General. This is simply incredible. All of a sudden, countless eyes converged on the Red Sound God General. And the Red Sound God General also enjoys the glory of this moment. She has spent too much time and opportunity to become a 10-star God General, and with the support of a Taoist ancestor, she was lucky enough to become a 10-star God General. At this time, a Taoist ancestor congratulated the Taoist ancestors of the Gumo organization. Strictly speaking, the Guma organization is not a very powerful force, because this force does not use the third-level heavenly ancestors, but it has 7 first and second-level heavenly ancestors, so it is not small in the chaos. However, the Guma organization has always been not good at teaching disciples, so it has not produced a few powerful disciples, but this time it has taught a 10-star general like the Red Sound God General, which is really shocking. Obviously, the Guma organization must have obtained a lot of great opportunities in the battlefield ruins, otherwise, there is no way to cultivate a 10-star God General with the original Guma organization's background. After all, if you want to become a 10-star God General, you must have the top chaotic body refining technique, and you must have a supreme foundation. In addition, every step must be taken to the extreme. Only then can there be a glimmer of hope to enter the 10-star God General. Even the transcendent forces dare not say that they will be able to cultivate a 10-star general, and other forces naturally have less hope. Today, the Guma organization has cultivated a 10-star God General. As long as this 10-star God General does not fall, it is very likely that a triple heavenly ancestor will be born in the future. And once the ancient demon organization cultivates a third-level Taoist ancestor, the ancient demon organization will become one of the top forces in the realm, even stronger than the Zushan lineage. After all, the number of Taoist ancestors in the Zushan lineage is not as good as the ancient one. The Mo organization, only with the third-level Taoist ancestor Shu Tiandao, can become one of the top powers. The Red Sound God General is a 10-star God General, plus the terrifying aspects of that infinite speed of sound technique, Xiao Yu is doomed. Some true monarchs concluded. Katakana middle. Ask for flowers. Xiao Yu, you are sure to lose. The Red Sound God will use all his strength, and I am afraid that the infinite speed of sound technique is more than 10 times more terrifying than before. If the average 9-star peak God General will definitely be severely injured or even killed by one move, this is the terrible thing about the 10-star God General. However, at this time, Xiao Yu still blocked the infinite speed of sound technique of the Red Sound God General, and did not struggle too hard. Another 10-star General. 1. The whole place shook. At this moment, the aura and strength displayed by Xiao Yu is a 10-star God General, and not an ordinary 10-star God General. In terms of momentum, it is even stronger than the Hongyan God General. It can be seen that Xiao Yu's background and potential are stronger than that of the Red Sound God General. How could this be? Xiao Yu is just a reincarnated God General. How could he easily reach this level? Many Taoist ancestors were very puzzled. 0. After all, if you were reincarnated and rehabilitated, it is generally difficult to surpass the previous life, unless there is a major flaw in the previous life, but even if you can surpass it, there is no way to surpass it too much. What's more, Xiao Yu was reincarnated and rebuilt not long ago. How could Xiao Yu grow to this level in such a short period of time? Yi Tian. In an instant, many people realized that all this was due to Yi Tian. Before, people said that Yi Tian was only a 9-star peak God General, but now no one would think so foolishly, because it is impossible for a 9-star peak God General to be so evil. But now, Yi Tian is not only an evildoer himself, but also cultivates his wife to such a level of evildoer, how much resources and treasures it will cost. Transcendental forces do not dare to cultivate, and they may not even be able to cultivate them. Of course, everyone didn't know that Yi Tian had a talent for copying, and he could give it at will, so there was no need to worry about his talent. In the past, he lacked resources and could not train Xiao Yu, but now he can train with all his strength. There is no shortage of resources, no shortage of talents, Xiao Yu grows up normally. Xiao Yu burst out with the strength of a 10-star general, and also had life-saving magical powers such as the Blood River Immortality Technique, plus the 3 eternal magical powers, the Spear of Eternity, the Gate of Eternity, and the Eternal Golden Light, which forcibly suppressed the Divine General of Red Sound. This battle lasted for 3 hours, and finally forced the Red Sound God to play several cards. Seeing that Xiao Yu couldn't do anything, and there was no hope of winning, he voluntarily conceded defeat. And this battle completely broke Xiao Yu's name. At this moment, she is no longer the name of Wanfa Daozi's wife, but truly has her own fame and glory. Chapter 1025 The Second Generation Descendants of Dao Ancestor. Xiao Yu. 1. Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu. Countless people shouted, as if they had become fans of Xiao Yu. It has to be said that after this battle, Xiao Yu's popularity in the quasi-Dao world has skyrocketed countless times in an instant. At this moment, Xiao Yu undoubtedly became the highest caller among the gods present, and even locked one of the places. The eyes of other gods looking at Xiao Yu were full of solemnity and fear, but a few gods were very calm, as if they didn't care about Xiao Yu's strength at all. The game continues. After Xiao Yu fought against the cold-blooded God General and Wu Yun God one by one, these two were also 10-star God Generals, but they still lost to Xiao Yu, which made Xiao Yu's prestige even higher. Reincarnation God General and Bingyu God General and Xiao Yu have always been in their prime. It is worth mentioning that the battle between the God General Wang Yu and the God General Bao Hu is very exciting, even more exciting than the battle between Xiao Yu and the God General Hong Yan to a certain extent. These two God Generals also revealed their strength, and they are also 10-star God Generals. One of the three dark horses, the God General Wang Yu, has a great reputation as 310, and is very strong, even greater than the reputation of the first place in each group. After all, the first place in each group lost consecutive defeats before, and the first place in the group is no longer counted. What? Therefore, many people believe that the god of Wang Yu will defeat the god of Bao Hu. In fact, I can't blame other people for thinking this way, because the Bao Hu God General seems to be only stable, and his strength is not very prominent. In the past, the battle between Bao Hu God and other gods was basically to condense a lake and sea to suppress the enemy, relying on time to slowly consume the power of other gods, thus winning the game. In the eyes of others, the Bao Hu God General can only bully the weak, and in the face of the equally powerful Wang Yu God General, he will definitely lose. Then, the results were quite surprising. Treasure Lake God will win, and it seems easy to win. In fact, the battle between the Treasure Lake God General and the Barren Universe God General is still condensing a lake to suppress the Barren Universe God General, but the defense and power are dozens of times larger. Moreover, the Treasure Lake God General has condensed a chaotic life in the lake and sea, although it is not a real chaotic life, it is just a creature transformed by power. There are a lot of them, and all of them are powerful. Under the siege of the chaotic beings in the Destiny Realm, God General Wang Yu was seriously injured before he exhausted his strength, and he had no choice but to admit defeat. And this battle also made people see the difficulty of Bao Hu God General. In terms of attack power or strength, Bao Hu God General is really inferior to Wang Yu God General, but Wang Yu God General can't help Bao Hu God General, so lost the game. Certainly, this is also related to the venue. If it is in the outside world, even if the God General of Wang Yu can't beat the God General of Bao Hu, he can escape completely, and even attack from a long distance, and have the hope of winning. But a game is a game, and it is impossible to fight in your own way. Although Wang Yu Divine General lost, he was not depressed at all. After all, he also won a spot, definitely in the top 10. However, the rewards for the top 10 and the top 3 are definitely different. This time, although the top 10 got the places to enter the talent pool, the higher the ranking, the more rewards. This point, the forces behind them have vaguely mentioned to them, but they did not specifically say any reward. The real reward is known only to the ancestors, and it will never be announced until the last moment. Soon, another game, Bingyu God will fight against Xiao Yu, and these two are female gods, so they attract a lot of attention. Even the incarnations of Taoist ancestors have cast their eyes one by one, watching this battle seriously. The strength of the Ice Rain God will lie in the Ice-type supernatural power, the realm of no ice, coupled with her own ice and snow holy body, while Xiao Yu is mainly strong in all aspects, with almost no flaws. When the two came on stage, the god of ice and rain showed the strength of a 10-star general, and the realm of ice free also unfolded. But in the next moment, she used an unprecedented method. Boom! A stalwart goddess ice sculpture floated above the ice and rain god general, but this was not a real ice sculpture, but a bloodline phantom. Daozu bloodline, she is the second-generation descendant of Taoist ancestors, and has the most direct bloodline. A Taoist ancestor exclaimed. At this moment, countless people were shocked and even puzzled. The second-generation descendants of Daozu are not as simple as the sons and daughters of Daozu. If Daozu gave birth to descendants before he became a Daozu, then these second-generation descendants cannot be called the second-generation descendants of Daozu. They can only be called descendants, or even not. Possesses Taoist blood. After all, the descendants of Daozu who were born before becoming Daozu, and later become Daozu, bloodline cannot be transferred to descendants. But it is too difficult to have descendants after becoming a Taoist ancestor. There is a limit to the number of descendants a creature can give birth to in a lifetime, with the exception of some races, but even for special races, at the level of Taoist ancestors, it is difficult to give birth to several descendants. For a long time, they have not heard of any Taoist ancestor who gave birth to a descendant. But now, the frozen rain god has shown the phantom of Tao ancestor, which means that she has the direct bloodline of Tao ancestor, and she must be in the second generation. If it is the third generation, no matter how strong the bloodline is, it is impossible to be summoned at the God General level. Debut Ancestor Void. This is not cheating, but belongs to the power of the Ice Rain God General, so it is not a violation. Whose descendant will the Ice Rain God be? Many Taoist ancestors were curious. The Frozen Rain God will be the God General of the Giant Axe City, and the Giant Axe City has only those Tao ancestors, but the Tao ancestors of the Giant Axe City do not have the Tao ancestors of the Ice Element Avenue. And this Tao ancestor phantom is an Ice Element Tao ancestor, which is different from what they know. There is no need to guess, the Ice Rain God will be the descendant of our city ancestor, but the bloodline he obtained comes from her mother. A Taoist ancestor of Giant Axe City said. Chengsu, it's him, so it's no wonder, it's rumored that Chengsu has something to do with a mysterious female Taoist. I didn't expect that Chengsu actually gave birth to a descendant. Many Taoist ancestors suddenly realized. At this time, the battle in the ring really began. The Ice Rain God will summon the Tao ancestor phantom that belongs to the second generation of Tao ancestor. This is the power of the Tao ancestor's bloodline. This power level is too high, which greatly increases the strength of the Ice Rain God General. For a time, Xiao Yu was completely suppressed. After all, in terms of bloodline, Xiao Yushi. If Xiao Yu has no means, I am afraid that he will lose. The spectator station of the Zushan Temple. Zhenjin Longhai transmitted a voice transmission to Yi Tian. Little junior brother, Xiao Yu is afraid that something is wrong. Senior brother Longhai, it's nothing more than a mere frost rain god. Yi Tian is still very confident. Oh, could it be that Xiao Yu still has a whole card? Longhai Zhenjin was extremely surprised. After all, at this point in the battle, you still have a powerful trump card, which is terrible. At this moment, a full moon appeared behind Xiao Yu, the whole person seemed to be in the full moon, and the power of endless moonlight formed a world-sized field. This is a vision that belongs to Xiao Yu's strong physique. This physique is called the Holy Moon Eucharist. The Chaos Body Refinement Technique created by Yi Tian for Xiao Yu is called the Extreme Moon Body Refinement Technique. God will cultivate the level to the extreme, and then he can condense the holy moon body. Before, Xiao Yu had never motivated her own physique, but now, when she activated it, such a terrifying physique phenomenon was formed, and the whole person's momentum also skyrocketed. After activating the holy moon sacred body, Xiao Yu displayed a chaotic supernatural power that matched the sacred moon sacred body. The ultimate sword. This is a terrifying chaotic supernatural power from the realm of the gods. Its power is second only to the Spear of Eternity, but it is the most suitable chaotic supernatural power for Xiao Yu. With the increase of the 5.8 body of Jiyu Sheng, its power exceeds that of Eternity. Spear. Fall. The holy sword of extreme yin fell, slashing towards the shadow of Tao ancestor of the frozen rain god. Boom. The phantom of Tao ancestor was shattered, and the ice-free domain of the ice rain god was also cracked open. The whole person kept retreating, and kept coughing up blood. Bingyu, admit defeat, the Taoist ancestor of Giant Axe City said quickly. Bingyu is the daughter of Chengsu, and she is the only daughter. How noble is her status? If she didn't know that Bingyu's strength is very strong, and the chance is too great this time, Giant Axe City would not dare to let her come. Participate in this competition. Now, Bingyu was injured, and the injury was very serious, and the Taoist ancestor of Giant Axe City panicked. Bingyu heard Daozu's message, and also knew that her strength was not Xiao Yu's opponent. Although she still had trump cards, she didn't really need to fight to the death. Besides, who can guarantee that Xiao Yu has no trump cards? I surrender. The Ice Rain God will concede defeat. Chapter 1026 6 Paths of Reincarnation. Even the Frozen Rain God has conceded defeat. Could it be that Xiao Yu has a chance to win the championship? Countless true monarchs thought in their hearts. At present, there are only two divine generals who can really threaten Xiao Yu, that is, the divine general of Samsara and the divine general of Baohai. That is to say, the gods who really have the strength to win the championship are Xiao Yu, the gods of reincarnation, and the gods of Baohai. All three of them are in a state of complete victory, but it is not easy to say who can win the victory. After a while, the real grand finale began. Bao Haishen will take the lead in the showdown with Samsara God, and this battle also determines who of the two will have the hope of becoming the champion. Many people are optimistic about the Baohai God General, because the methods of the Baohai God General are too incomprehensible, and even the Wangyu God General who can break through all methods with one punch cannot escape the suppression of the Baohai God General. If they cannot get rid of the repression, no matter how strong they are, they will be exhausted to admit defeat. On the ring, Bao Haishen will fight with Samsara. From the very beginning, the Bao-hai god will use the power of the lake and sea to suppress the samsara god, and even block the void where the samsara god will escape, so that the samsara god will always be suppressed. According to the plan of Bao-hai god general, the power of the samsara god general has been exhausted in this way. However, at this moment, the reincarnation god will summon the 6 portals. The seemingly endless power of the lake and sea actually poured into the 29 6 portals and disappeared, weakening the suppression of the reincarnation gods many times at once. That's 6 paths of reincarnation. Countless true monarchs were shocked, and even Yi Tian showed a bit of shock. Because the 6 paths reincarnation technique is the second-ranked supernatural power in the Chaos Divine Ability list, once the 6 paths reincarnation technique is used, the 6 paths reincarnation gate can be constructed, and all attacks can be resolved. Moreover, once it is swallowed by the 6 paths reincarnation gate, the consciousness will fall into reincarnation. It is rumored that once the 6 paths reincarnation technique reaches the limit, it can even forcefully send people into reincarnation, but sending a strong person into reincarnation costs a lot. But this method is too heaven-defying, it is equivalent to countless reincarnation seeds. When Yi Tian obtained a reincarnation seed, he also gambled with the disciples of the transcendental forces, and only got one, but it can be replaced by other circumstances. Even many Taoist tools cannot exchange for a reincarnation seed. It is conceivable that the powerhouses who know the 6-path reincarnation technique are very popular, and there will definitely be many people who ask the other party to send their less talented juniors into the 6-path reincarnation. Countless people want to practice the 6-path reincarnation technique, but they cannot obtain the inheritance of the 6-path reincarnation technique. After all, there are too few people who can cultivate the 6 paths reincarnation technique to the great accomplishment or consummation realm, so it is very difficult to create the inheritance of the 6 paths reincarnation technique, and the requirements for cultivation are too harsh. The 6-path reincarnation technique requires a total of 4 talents: reincarnation talent, time talent, and space talent, thus forming a new 6-path reincarnation talent. If you rely on yourself, there is no way to form the 6-path reincarnation talent. You must use treasures, and the only known treasure that assists the fusion of the 4 talents is the 6-path reincarnation stone. But almost no one has heard of the 6 paths reincarnation stone, only the Taoist ancestors know a little bit of information. 6 paths of reincarnation stone, I didn't expect that the reincarnation god would have such a treasure. It must have been given to him by the Forbidden Temple, otherwise it would be impossible to obtain it with his strength. Yi Tian secretly said. Others may not know where the 6 paths reincarnation stone is, but he does know that it is even recorded in the Black Wind Mountain book space. The 6 paths of reincarnation stones only appear in the dark forbidden realm. Even in the realm of the gods, the 6 paths of reincarnation stones are very rare treasures. Perhaps most of Yi Tian's supernatural powers in this realm are far inferior to the realm of the gods, but the top 3 supernatural powers in the Chaos Supernatural Power list are enough to be treated as the supernatural powers even if they are placed in the realm of the gods. After all, the chaotic supernatural power involving 4 talents, how can it be ordinary? Unfortunately, I have no way to obtain the inheritance of the 6 paths reincarnation technique, otherwise I don't need the 6 paths reincarnation stone, and I can practice it. Yi Tian thought to himself. Although he is now a true monarch, the chaotic supernatural power is not powerful enough for him, but the chaotic supernatural power of the 6-path reincarnation technique is more powerful than some middle-grade original supernatural powers. Coupled with the particularity of the 6 paths reincarnation technique, it is important to be superior to the original supernatural powers. More importantly, if Yi Tian has practiced the 6 paths reincarnation technique, he can completely create a origin divine ability involving the 6 paths reincarnation based on the 6 paths reincarnation technique, and he can even create his own Tao technique involving the 6 paths reincarnation in the future. The Forbidden Palace must have the inheritance of the 6 paths of reincarnation. If it is possible, it will be exchanged at all costs in the future. Yi Tian decided. At this time, as soon as the 6 paths reincarnation technique came out, Bao Haishen completely panicked with the calm expression that had remained unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Boom! The 6 paths reincarnation gate came to suppress it, and the terrifying power of reincarnation pulled the treasure sea god general. Once pulled in, Bao Haishen will also be difficult to block the power of reincarnation, consciousness will fall into reincarnation, and the body will be slaughtered by it. Immediately, Bao Haishen will explode a door card, trying to break the 6 path reincarnation technique. After a while, Bao Haishen will consume a lot, especially the divine soul, is in an invisible confrontation with the six paths reincarnation gate, so the divine soul is a little weak. But the reincarnation god general is also uncomfortable. The level of the six paths reincarnation technique is too high, and his use of this chaotic supernatural power consumes a lot of money, and he cannot continue to fight for a long time. Both of them are doing their best, and whoever can win depends on who can persevere longer. Another half-hour passed. Suddenly, Bao Hai Shenjiang sighed. I admit defeat. He couldn't hold on any longer. If he was really pulled in by the six paths reincarnation gate, once he fell into reincarnation, his soul would be severely damaged, which would be detrimental to the following matches. Even if he loses to the reincarnation god, he doesn't want to lose the chance to hit the second place. Anyway, as long as he defeats Xiao Yu, he can still win the second place. Seeing Bao Hai Shenjiang admit defeat, Samsara Shenjiang also breathed a sigh of relief. He consumes too much, and he can't hold on for long. Bao Hai Shen will admit defeat. This is undoubtedly the best result. Afterwards, one game after another, it was finally Xiao Yu's turn to fight against Bao Hai God General. Only by defeating the Bao Hai God General will Xiao Yu have the chance to compete for the first place with the Samsara God General. When Xiao Yu and Bao Hai Shen entered the ring, Zhenjin Longhai glanced at his younger junior brother Yi Tian, and found that the other party was very calm and didn't seem to be worried about anything. Bao Hai God General is still the same as before, trying to suppress Xiao Yu with the power of the lake and sea. But Xiao Yu did not use the chaotic supernatural powers such as the Spear of Eternity, but instead used the Holy Moon. The only thing is that the Yin Sacred Sword was not used. Because Xiao Yu is very clear, the Supreme Yin Sacred Sword will not be able to completely injure the opponent under the opponent's Lake Sea Divine ability, which blocks the void and suppresses everything. Therefore, Xiao Yu used another method. I saw a blood-red eye suddenly appear in the full moon behind Xiao Yu. In an instant, the blood-red eyes kept spinning, and a terrifying divine soul force spread to Bao Hai God General. The world of illusion is formed in an instant. At this moment, many Taoist ancestors change their expressions. They recognize the technique, the second illusion magic power in the realm of the gods, endless sinking. A fourth-level heavenly Tao ancestor said with a little surprise. Chapter 1027 Admit Defeat. How is it possible? How can Xiao Yu have so many chaotic supernatural powers? Countless true monarchs were shocked. Even many Taoist ancestors were amazed. After all, it takes a lot of money to cultivate a chaotic supernatural power, and Xiao Yu has practiced so many chaotic supernatural powers in a short period of time, and none of them are ordinary chaotic supernatural powers. It can be said that even the transcendent forces will not spend a huge price for the gods to cultivate so many chaotic supernatural powers. Under normal circumstances, even if it was passed down from the ancestors, they would at most specialize in 2 or 3 chaotic supernatural powers. As strong as Bao Hai Divine General, in fact, he has also cultivated 2 Chaos Divine ability, one is the defensive Chaos Divine ability, and the other is the Infinite Divine Sea technique to defeat a large number of Divine Generals. This Infinite Divine Sea technique is not the chaotic supernatural power known to everyone. Many people do not know the origin of this supernatural power, but it is obviously from the realm of the gods, and it is a very partial supernatural power. And the people who know the name of the Infinite Divine Sea technique are very rare, and most people still don't know what this magical power is called. It is precisely because of the full research and cultivation of the Infinite Divine Sea technique that even if the Bao Hai God General can only master the prototype of the Chaos Divine ability, and cannot exert the power of the Chaos Divine ability, he can use a fraction of his strength to exert a terrifying formidable power in multiples of steps. Only by cooperating with his various secret techniques can he suppress the powerful opponents one by one. But Xiao Yu is completely unreasonable, a supernatural power that is incomparably defying the sky. The display is too shocking and enviable. Endless sinking, not good. Bao Hai Shen will be shocked. Before he came, he had done enough homework and had some understanding of many chaotic supernatural powers known in the realm of the gods, and the endless sinking was an illusion technique that was incomparably defying in the realm of the gods, second only to the first illusion in the realm of the gods. Magical powers, the land of dreams. And in the historical records of the broken realm in the divine heaven realm, geniuses who can practice endless perdition are extremely rare, and there may not even be one for a long time. There is only one reason: practitioners must have the talent of sinking, and this talent requires illusion talent, soul talent, pupil talent and blood moon talent. But if you want to integrate these 4 talents, you must have the crystal of sinking, and this thing is too rare, and it takes a long time for the gods to be born in some forbidden places. Because of this, the magical supernatural power of endless sinking is so rare. But everyone never imagined that Xiao Yu had mastered the magical power of endless sinking, which was almost impossible to practice. Ah! Bao Haishen twisted his face, his soul was on the verge of sinking all the time, the feeling was too uncomfortable. It seems that as long as he relaxes a little, the soul will fall into the illusion world created by the endless sinking of the illusion, and then everything will be controlled. If he gave up directly, there would be no pain, but he didn't want to give up, and he had been competing with endless sinking, so this feeling was far more uncomfortable than dying from injury. Xiao Yu needs to maintain the endless sinking, so there is no way to attack the Baohai God General with all his strength, but the Baohai God General cannot maintain the infinite divine sea technique under the influence of the endless sinking. Suddenly, the lake and sea that covered the entire arena disappeared. At this time, Xiao Yu directly motivated a cyan long sword of the highest chaotic treasure level, and slashed towards the treasure sea god with one sword. Boom! The treasure sea god general seemed to have been slashed through by billions of sword lights, and his injuries were not minor. But at this time, Bao Haishen Zhang had no time to manage his injuries, so he could only do his best to resist the endless sinking. Fortunately, there are soul treasures in his soul, otherwise he would have been pulled into the endless sinking world. Just then, Bao Haishen released the radiance of the soul sea, and a grey flower bloomed, directly breaking Xiao Yu's endless submerged magical powers. Forced into endless sinking, Bao Haishen will wake up, but his face is full of regret. He is distressed about the grey flower. It is not a real flower, but a kind of soul wonder, and it is a one-time soul wonder, a life-saving wonder that can keep his soul from being annihilated in the future. It can even be said that as long as Daozu did not take the shot himself, other powerhouses could not annihilate his soul with a single blow, which is equivalent to a second life at a critical moment. But now, in order to counteract Xiao Yu's endless sinking, he directly used this treasure. Xiao Yu, your endless sinking was forcibly broken by me, and you can't use it for the time being. This time you are sure to lose. Bao Haishen said coldly. Really? Xiao Yu sneered, and immediately used a treasure that Yi Tian had given her to restore her soul, Mist Soul Fruit. This treasure could restore her soul's injuries, and even restore the sequelae caused by the broken soul secret technique. Once the Mist Soul Fruit is taken, Xiao Yu's endless sinking can be used again. At the moment when Yi Tian displayed his endless sinking, Bao Haishen Zhang immediately confessed, I admit defeat. He only had that rare soul item, which had already been used up, and could no longer fight against Xiao Yu's endless sinking. In this way, at least he would lose a decent amount of money, and if he was trapped by Xiao Yu's endless sinking, he might be in a very embarrassing situation. With Bao Haishen Zhang conceding defeat, Xiao Yu has only one opponent left, Reincarnation Shen General. Once he defeats the Samsara God General, Xiao Yu can become the champion of this talent ancestral pool battle. There are still some games to come, and the game between Xiao Yu and Samsara God will be the last one, which can ensure the excitement of the game. It didn't take long for all but the last game to end. So, the last game came. Xiao Yu fights the Reincarnation General. It is difficult for the Taoist ancestors to say who wins and who wins, because both sides have their own advantages. Xiao Yu is indeed very strong, and also possesses a series of terrifying chaotic supernatural powers, such as Endless Sinking, Supreme Sword, Eternal Spear, Eternal Gate, Eternal Golden Light, Blood River Indestructible Technique, etc. But the Reincarnation God General has mastered the Six Paths Reincarnation Technique, which ranks second in the Chaos Divine Ability list, and Xiao Yu's Endless Sinking may not help the Reincarnation God General. Because the God of Reincarnation who has practiced the Six Path Reincarnation Technique, his soul is protected by the Six Path Reincarnation, and even if he sinks endlessly, it is difficult to shake the Six Path Reincarnation, so at most it will cause a little trouble to the Reincarnation God. Therefore, to a certain extent, the Reincarnation God will restrain Xiao Yu instead. But Xiao Yu mastered too many supernatural powers, which crushed the Reincarnation Gods again. Because of this, it's hard to say who will win and who will lose. However, what shocked everyone was that Xiao Yu chose to admit defeat before he even started the game. Little junior brother, just now you transmitted your voice to your wife, and then she conceded defeat, why? According to my estimation, your wife still has a good chance of winning. Zhenjin Longhai asked in confusion. Because of the true reincarnation technique. Yi Tian sighed. What happened to the Six Paths Reincarnation Technique? Zhenjin Longhai was stunned, but he quickly reacted and fully understood. Above the void, a group of Taoist ancestors are also discussing. Xiao Yu actually admit defeat, it's a pity. She had to admit defeat, because she couldn't beat the god of reincarnation, not only because she was restrained because of endless sinking, but most importantly, it was difficult for her to stop the 6 reincarnation techniques. If she is not a person who was reincarnated through the seeds of reincarnation, then there may be, I hope, the good one will win the reincarnation god. But she uses the reincarnation seed to reincarnate, and now she has not completely freed from the power of the reincarnation seed in this life, unless she transcends into the realm of destiny and gets rid of the reincarnation seed with the power of detachment. Otherwise, the reincarnation god will use the 6 reincarnation technique, which directly affects Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu's strength is estimated to be only 30%, or even less than 30%. 1. Seeds of reincarnation. It turns out that I almost forgot that the 6-path reincarnation technique has a great impact on the reincarnated person. Only by transcending into the realm of destiny or stepping into the real ancestor or Taoist level in the future can this effect be completely eliminated. This is also the reincarnation of reincarnation. A flaw, but I didn't expect that someone really mastered the 6-path reincarnation technique. Xiao Yu is too scary, but in terms of potential in the future, Xiao Yu is still better. With Xiao Yu conceding defeat, Samsara God will take first place. Xiao Yu was very satisfied with this result, and Yi Tian was also very satisfied. Although the original goal was to be the first, but it is also very good to be able to get the second. Although the reward gap between the first and the second is probably very large, but no matter how big the opportunities and treasures given by the Taoist ancestors, they will not be able to qualify for the talent pool. To be able to get a place, this is the biggest gain. Chapter 10:28 Rich Rewards, go to the talent ancestral pool. The battle for the talent pool quota came to an end, and Lunfeng Daozu announced the top 10 rewards. And the top 10 are Samsara God General, Xiao Yu, Baohai God General, Ice Rain God General, Wangyu God General, Red Sound God General, Cold Blood God General, Wuyun God General, Luo Yu God General and Dao God Will. The top 10 in the Battle of Talent Ancestral Pools can get the places to enter the Talent Ancestral Pool. In addition, the first place can get 3 Taoist inheritances that fit their own, the inheritance of 100 true ancestors, and the 10 top chaotic body refining techniques. Inheritance, 10 million celestial stones, and 10,000 years of enlightenment on the celestial monument. The second place can get 2 Taoist inheritances that fit him, 50 real ancestors inheritance, 5 top chaotic body refining techniques, 5 million heavenly stones and 5,000 years of enlightenment. The awards were announced one by one, causing the envy of countless true monarchs. Even Yi Tian was moved by these rewards. If nothing else, he was very interested in the inheritance of Taoism. Moreover, the enlightenment time of the Divine Heaven Boundary Monument was enough to make his heart move. The Divine Heaven Boundary Monument is not an ordinary treasure, but a supreme treasure that enables people to deduce, create, and comprehend the Tao incessantly. It is of great use to Tao ancestors. However, the God Heaven Boundary Monument was occupied by the 4 transcendental forces. Although other forces also wanted to occupy the Divine Heaven Boundary Monument, the 4 transcendental forces had descended upon several incarnations of the 4th heavenly Tao ancestor. How dare the Tao ancestor incarnations of other top powers dare to do it? However, due to the pressure of the major forces, the 4 transcendental forces had no choice but to open the Divine Heaven Boundary Monument. However, due to the special nature of the God Heaven Boundary Monument, only one person is allowed to comprehend at a time, and the power of the God Heaven Boundary Monument will gradually decrease with the enlightenment, and it will take a long time to recover. Therefore, the time to comprehend the God Heaven Boundary Monument is very precious, and it is impossible for the 4 transcendental forces to reward them for too long. Otherwise, how can the powerhouses of the 4 transcendental forces still have time to comprehend the Divine Heaven Boundary Monument? Soon, the top 10 players in the Talent Ancestral Pool battle were rewarded one after another. The Taoist Inheritance, the True Ancestor Inheritance, the Chaotic Body Refinement Inheritance, and the Tiandao Stone rewards were distributed almost on the spot. But it is a pity that these inheritances are only allowed to be passed on by themselves and cannot be spread. Compared with those inheritances that can be spread, the value of these inheritances is greatly reduced. But if you think about it carefully, if you can obtain the inheritance of Taoism, the inheritance of true ancestors, and the inheritance of top-level body refining techniques that can be passed on to other people in the competition at the level of the gods, wouldn't it be too exaggerated? After all, any reward is enough to increase the foundation of the top powers. The 4 transcendental forces cannot afford so many inheritances, and there may not even be so many inheritances that can be spread at will. As for the enlightenment time of the Shenshin boundary monument, the top 10 gods have each obtained a token, and they can use this token to enlighten at any time, but as long as they go to enlightenment separately, it will not affect the enlightenment. The reward for the top 10 is very generous, any true monarch will be moved, and even enough to make many true ancestors envious. For the gods, it is an astronomical wealth. But everyone is very clear that the real big chance is the talent ancestral pool, that is enough to change the fate of the sky-defying chance. If they are placed in the domain, there is no chance to enter the talent pool. But now, they have got the opportunity to enter the talent pool, and in the case that the domain powerhouses are temporarily unable to be born. Once the realm powerhouses wake up from their slumber, I am afraid that even the 4 great transcendental forces will lose their innate ancestral pool, and even their own status will not be preserved. In this era, strength is everything, and even in the near future, even the major forces will be reorganized. I don't know how many top major forces and how many Tao ancestors will fall because of this. Go to the talent pool. The 10 gods will go to the innate ancestor pool under the leadership of each Taoist incarnation. CJFI onlookers are not eligible to go, and even ETN is not allowed to approach the innate ancestral pool. Battlefield ruins, in a bottomless abyss. An ancient pond grows in the void, surrounded by dense restrictions and large formations, but most of the restrictions are broken, and there is a small void passage directly into the pond. This is the talent pool. Due to the fragmentation of the domain, many ruins have been severely affected, and this is also true of this innate ancestor pool. Otherwise, the incarnations of Taoist ancestors will not be able to break the ban, and those gods will not be able to enter the talent ancestor pool. Wow, the void split open, and an incarnation of a famous Taoist ancestor came here, and then 10 gods also came here. This is the talented ancestor pond, and you follow this void passage to enter it. Remember, don't try to take other routes when you go, or you will be banned and obliterated, and we will not be able to rescue you. Lunfeng Daozu reminded. Yes, a famous general answered in unison. Immediately, 10 god generals entered the innate ancestor pond one after another, selected an area in the huge innate ancestor pond, immersed in it, and began to undergo the transformation of the innate ancestral pond. Boom! 10 tornadoes formed in the ancestral pool of talent, countless mysterious energies transformed their bodies, and began to create a Tao-level natural talent in the depths of their souls. This transformation is very violent, but the improvement effect is quite good. Not to mention the extremely mysterious Tao-level natural talent, the energy of the talent ancestral pool to transform the body is enough to raise the foundation of the 10 gods to another level. For example, these 10-star generals of reincarnation, once the transformation is completed, their own foundations are definitely not weaker than those of 10-star generals. Being able to detach from the universe is enough to raise a small level on the basis of the 10-star generals, but the creatures in the chaos do not have this treatment. But now, after the transformation of the talent ancestral pool, this treatment has caught up. As for Xiao Yu, her foundation has also improved, but if she is detached in the future, it is estimated that the foundation will not be improved too much, because her foundation has almost been raised to the limit. But her real improvement is not the foundation, but the influence of reincarnation and the hidden danger, which has been completely repaired under the transformation of the talent ancestral pool at this moment. For example, after she came out of the talent pool, she no longer had to be afraid of the gods of reincarnation. The 6 reincarnation techniques of the gods of reincarnation would never affect her. Time passes by day, and in the blink of an eye, thousands of years have passed. This day, the transformation of the 10 divine generals has basically been completed, and their breath has improved a lot. The Tao-level natural talent has become. The 10 gods sensed the changes in the talents in their souls, and laughed wildly one by one. Chapter 1029 The 10 Great Tao-level Natural Talents. Xiao Yu also sensed her own Tao-level natural talent. Born talent, Hengyu Tao level. Through the natural talent, Xiao Yu learned about the ability of this natural talent, which is to summon a round of eternal and immortal full moon to kill the enemy, and it can also merge with the constant moon to burst out terrifying power. But the biggest use of Hengyu's Tao-level natural talent is that Xiao Yu can easily learn Tao techniques related to the moon at the true monarch level. Therefore, when she cultivates to the level of a true monarch, she can practice Taoism. At that time, her strength will inevitably skyrocket to a terrifying level. The other 9 gods have also acquired a Tao-level natural talent. These natural talents are all the same in level, and they are all beyond the super god level Tao level. But whether the natural talent can be brought into full play, that is the most important thing. The Tao-level natural talents of the 10 divine generals were nurtured, and the energy of the innate ancestral pool was so weak that it was almost impossible to transform another divine general. Perhaps in the long years to come, the talent ancestral pool will be in a state of recovery. It's time to leave. A famous god will leave the talent ancestral pool and return to the outside world. And Xiao Yu was taken back by the Taoist ancestors of the Zhuxian temple, and Yi Tian was waiting for the exit of the battlefield ruins. Husband. 1. When Xiao Yu saw Yi Tian, she was very happy and flew over. Has the Tao-level natural talent formed? Yi Tian asked with a smile. He naturally used the copy talent to detect the existence of Xiao Yu's natural talent, but it was impossible to say it directly, so he asked casually. Well, it's formed, it's a Tao-level natural talent, Heng Yu. Xiao Yu did not hide anything and said directly. Yes, not bad. Yi Tian nodded. Immediately, he used the copy talent to try to copy Xiao Yu's Tao-level natural talent, and the copy was completed soon. As long as he went back and merged, he would also have the Tao-level natural talent. Next, Yi Tian did not leave here, but waited for other gods who came out of the talent pool. If these gods left, they would definitely leave from here. This is also the only exit of the battlefield ruins at present. As for the barriers to tearing the battlefield, even the incarnation of Taoist ancestors is more laborious, and it is generally not done. Yi Tian didn't want to leave now, which caused him to miss the contact with the 9 gods, and the 9 gods would be in retreat for a long time in the future. In this case, wouldn't he have been able to copy their Tao-level natural talent for a long time? Fortunately, everything was progressing according to Yi Tian's calculations, and the 9 gods did not stay in the battlefield ruins, nor did they go to the God-Heaven Boundary Monument to comprehend. The 10-star God General level would go to the God-Heaven Boundary Monument for enlightenment now. Completely wasted opportunity. Therefore, they can't wait to leave the battlefield ruins, and prepare to return to the real country or the stronghold of the Quandao realm to honestly retreat and attack the realm of destiny. It didn't take long for a famous god to leave the battlefield ruins under the escort of many powerhouses, and Yi Tian did not meet them directly but secretly copied their Tao-level natural talent. As a result, Yi Tian suddenly possessed the 10 major Tao-level natural talents. These 10 Tao-level natural talents are Heng Yu, Reincarnation, Endless Sea of Bitterness, Void Blade, Netherworld, Crystallus Ice Realm, Huang Yu, Life and Death Blood Realm, Escape Feather, and Sound Kill. These 10 natal talents have their own special characteristics, and some talents even look similar to some ordinary talents, but they themselves have reached the Tao level, and the power of the talents itself surpasses most chaotic supernatural powers. Yi Tian was most surprised by the Samsara natural talent, because this natal natural talent has the effect of resurrection and reincarnation, and it can be used on himself. For example, if you are killed by someone, but as long as you use the reincarnation at the moment of being killed, you can be resurrected again. In addition, he can also cast the samsara innate temporary samsara into a new life, and can cancel the reincarnation state with a single thought. Of course, this is not reincarnation in the true sense, but a special state that can be used to enter the mundane tempering state in the future. It's a pity that the Tao-level natural talent cannot be integrated. Yi Tian sighed. Of course, this is not to say that the natal natural talent cannot be integrated, it can only be said that his copy talent is currently low in level. However, the current Tao-level natal talent is enough. Xiao Yu went into seclusion, and after preparing to practice for a period of time, she could detach and then hit the destiny realm. Yi Tian did not retreat, but waited, preparing to wait for Xiao Yu to enter the realm of destiny before going to retreat with confidence. Katakana middle dot ask for flowers. In the blink of an eye, thousands of years have passed. On this day, Xiao Yu's state was raised to the limit, and she finally chose to detach. With Xiao Yu's strength, the detachment this time was not difficult at all. Xiao Yu easily resisted the calamity of the detached, and then took advantage of the situation to step into the realm of destiny, and once again became a celestial monarch. But compared with the previous life, Xiao Yu's life is far stronger than the previous life, and he can instantly kill multiple people of the same realm. Xiao Yu has broken through to the realm of destiny, and it will take a long time to retreat and cultivate. Therefore, Yi Tian also chose to retreat and cultivate, specializing in Taoism. He is going to cultivate Taoism, then raise the soul and power to the limit, and then try to cultivate the endless avenue to the level of 100,000 meters, and truly condense a complete endless avenue, thus breaking through into the half-step real ancestor realm. 0. For Taoism, Yi Tian also obtained some, although not much, but enough for the time being. The first door technique he wants to practice is the air-splitting technique. This is a space Dao technique, and he happens to have the Void Blade, a Dao-level natural talent that involves space. If he cultivates the space-splitting technique, he can completely practice it. Originally, Yi Tian thought that it would take a long time for him to cultivate a Dao technique, but with the help of the Super God-level Super Enlightenment talent, he actually cultivated the air-splitting technique to the entry level in just 1,000 years. Amazing, amazing! Yi Tian was extremely shocked in his heart. According to the information of the realm, even if the Taoist ancestors cultivated Taoism, they could not cultivate a Taoism to the entry level in just 1,000 years. It might be so terrifying. He thought of this Tao-level talent, and the Tao-level cultivation speed was much faster than he imagined. At this time, Yi Tian finally realized the defying point of the Tao-level natural talent. Moreover, it is difficult for some Tao ancestors to cultivate a Tao technique to the realm of small success, great success, and perfection, but for the Tao-level natural talent, as long as it fits their own Tao technique, they can quickly practice it. This is also the reason why every Taoist is so eager for the natural talent of the Taoist level. Unfortunately, the talent pool only allows the God level to enter, otherwise countless Taoists will fight desperately because of the talent pool. Yi Tian did not go out, but continued to comprehend the sky-splitting technique, striving to cultivate this technique to a higher level as soon as possible, thereby greatly improving his own strength. Chapter 1030 Break the Shackles, Half-Step True Ancestor. 10,000 years, the sky-cracking technique is small. After 130,000 years, the sky-splitting technique has been completed. Another 360,000 years have passed. On this day, Yi Tian finally cultivated the sky-splitting technique to the perfect state. Although there is still a limit state, Yi Tian did not try to cultivate. It is not that there is no way to improve it, but it is unnecessary. It's just a perfection realm sky-splitting technique, and Yi Tian only has the power of one blow. After one blow, the divine power will consume 90%, and the soul power will also consume most of it. Therefore, once he has cultivated the sky-splitting technique to the limit level, there is no way he can use it with his current cultivation. The sky-splitting technique is complete, and my strength is much stronger than before. I am afraid that even if the incarnation of the fourth heavenly Daozu fights with me, I can easily suppress it. 1. Yi Tian muttered. He estimates that his strength is even expected to fight against the 5,323, Daozu Chongtian incarnation. As time passed, Yi Tian took a lot of magical medicines, medicinal pills, and special treasures to increase divine power and divine soul to speed up the progress of divine power and divine soul. Coupled with the increasing effect of the ninth pole of the Juji True Body Art, Yi Tian's divine power and divine soul are approaching the limit day by day. Finally, on this day after 1.3 million, Yi Tian's body, divine power and divine soul all reached their limits, and without breaking through the realm, there was almost no way to advance. Now, Yi Tian has only one shackle left, and that is the shackle of 99,999 meters of the prototype of the Endless Avenue. Only by raising it to a length of 100,000 meters and forming a complete avenue can he be promoted to the half-step true ancestor realm. My Endless Avenue contains a large number of avenues, and the length and width have reached the limit of 99,999 meters. If you want to break this limit, it is 100 times or even 1,000 times more difficult than other true monarchs. Just relying on your own hard work, I don't know how much it will take. It takes a long time to break the shackles. Yi Tian thought to himself. Of course, he would not take an auxiliary treasure similar to the innate source life that could help break the shackles, which would affect his foundation. But that doesn't mean he can't use foreign objects. For example, there is a treasure that he can take, that is the Heavenly Soul Pill. The Heavenly Soul Pill can assist in comprehending and cultivating various methods, supernatural powers and secret techniques, and naturally, it can also allow Yi Tian to comprehend the Great Tao with terrifying comprehension, thus breaking the shackles in one fell swoop. As for whether a Heavenly Soul Pill can help him break the shackles, Yi Tian is not too sure, but he must try it, otherwise he doesn't want to waste countless time breaking this small level. He took out a Heavenly Soul Pill, and Yi Tian took it. Immediately, the process of the instant elapse of 10,000 years of time began. Enlightenment, enlightenment, enlightenment. Yi Tian started the super god level super comprehension talent and tried his best to understand the Tao. Because Yi Tian has accepted too many inheritances, his knowledge and background far exceed other true monarchs, and coupled with the super enlightenment talent and the assistance of the Heavenly Soul Pill, Yi Tian's progress is too fast. It can be said that Yi Tian analyzed and understood the Endless Avenue from all aspects, and his understanding of the Endless Avenue far surpassed before. Soon, the effect of a Heavenly Soul Pill was exhausted. With the help of the heavenly soul pill, Yi Tian has cultivated for 10,000 years with his ultimate comprehension, but to his disappointment, he still did not break the shackles and advance to the half-step true ancestor realm. Just a little bit, Yi Tian sighed. Without saying a word, he took another heavenly soul pill and continued to comprehend the endless avenue. This time, he finally broke the shackles with the help of the second heavenly soul pill. Boom! Yi Tian's Dao source space, the prototype of the endless Dao, suddenly changed from 99,999 meters to 100,000 meters. Although it only increased by 1 meter, it was an earth-shaking transformation. The power of the great Dao has grown wildly, and far surpassed it before. In terms of level, the power and origin of the newly transformed Dao seems to be higher than the previous level. If the Dao ancestor's Dao power is compared to the high-level Dao's power, and the true monarch's Dao's power is the low-level Dao's power, then he is now the power of the avenue is the power of the intermediate avenue. This is the essential difference. When the prototype of the endless avenue has transformed into a complete avenue, there is no longer a distance limit, and it has turned into a sea of avenues, which can also be called the sea of the original avenue. It's just that compared with other half-step true ancestors, Yi Tian's great Dao sea is too big. I don't know how many times it is bigger. If those true ancestors and Dao ancestors know the scale of Yi Tian's great Dao sea, I am afraid they will be one by one. Shocked. The shackles disappeared, Yi Tian began to try to fuse the soul with the Dao, and this step was completed to be regarded as the real half-step true ancestor. I saw that Yi Tian's soul space and the source space of the avenue began to merge step by step. The soul came directly to the sea of the source of the avenue, and the endless power of the source of the avenue began to temper the soul. This process is also a fusion process. Once the Dao source space and the soul space are completely integrated, it means that the soul and the Dao are perfectly integrated, which is equivalent to crossing the process of half-step true ancestor and directly entering the true ancestor realm. True ancestor, every move contains the power of the origin of the great Dao, and every strike can be called a peerless supernatural power. Even because the true ancestor's divine consciousness contains the power of the source of the Dao, it can easily break through the space and descend to the endless and distant territory. This is also why the true ancestors can leave a place of inheritance in each universe, and can easily bring a ray of consciousness. The true ancestor is too strong, and his abilities and means far exceed those of the true monarch. Unless it is a true genius, ordinary true monarchs are like ants in the eyes of true ancestors. For example, Yi Tian himself, who had just entered the half-step true ancestor realm, felt that he was at least 10 times stronger and could easily suppress his previous self. This moment, Yi Tian is a little swollen. He feels that the incarnations of the 5th-level Taoist ancestors come to the quasi-Dao world, and he can crush them to death. Only when the 6th-level Taoist incarnations come, can he truly threaten him. But is there a 6th heavenly Dao ancestor in this realm? Yi Tian feels that there is no, at least not now. I still can't float, the quasi-Dao world is still evolving. Once it evolves into the real Dao world, the true ancestors 5.8 can come. I am only half a step into the true ancestors realm, and the strength of the invincible true ancestors is still very big. When Yi Tian thought about it like this, he became calm and no longer so inflated. Divine soul and Dao fusion, this process is relatively long, such as those half-step true ancestors of quasi-Dao world, many have not yet merged to the limit. And Yi Tian's soul and Dao are too powerful, so the fusion time must be longer. However, Yi Tian has enough resources to shorten the time. But no matter how small it is, no matter how the formation technique can help, it will take hundreds of thousands of years to complete this process completely. Yi Tian is not in a hurry. Anyway, in the quasi-Dao world, there is no way to break through to the real ancestor realm at all. Staying in the half-step real ancestor realm for a while is not a bad thing. Chapter 1031 Harmony Treasures. Time flies, and thousands of years have passed. In the past, tens of thousands of years might not be a long time, and a single celestial monarch would simply retreat for more than this time. But now, in the quasi-Dao world with countless opportunities, thousands of years are considered relatively long, and the changes in the entire quasi-Dao world are naturally incomparable. At this time, there are too many half-step true ancestors in the quasi-Dao world. For the true monarchs, the shackles are like a moat, but it is easy to break in this era. Too many true monarchs who could not be promoted to the half-step true ancestor realm in the past have used the opportunity to break the shackles and promoted to the half-step true ancestor realm. It can be said that any faction can easily take out hundreds of half-step true ancestors, and even the human race has given birth to several half-step true ancestors. Several half-step true ancestors of the human race use the innate source life bestowed by Etn to break the shackles and promoted to the half-step true ancestor realm. Although there are some flaws in the promotion of the half-step true ancestor, the powerhouses of the human race do not care. After all, they have no hope of being promoted to the Tao ancestor in the future. If they can have the opportunity to be promoted to the true ancestor and become a real big man, they are naturally happy. In the past, the chance of being promoted to the half-step true ancestor was enough to cause countless true monarchs to fight, and even the disciples of the Tao ancestor would be moved. It is worth mentioning that Yi Tian spent a huge price to buy a reincarnation thing, not a reincarnation seed, but a reincarnation leaf, a leaf on the reincarnation tree, and also has a reincarnation effect, but it is not as good as a reincarnation seed. The creatures reincarnated using the leaf of reincarnation are not very talented in the future. But Yi Tian doesn't care about this at all, he can bestow talent at will, so this defect hardly exists. He gave the leaf of reincarnation to his younger sister Yi Yu, so that her younger sister also reincarnated, and now she has once again cultivated to the realm of a god general. And Yi Tian's wife, Xiao Yu, is now the ultimate powerhouse of Tianjin, with an extremely deep foundation. If she had to create the strongest foundation, she would have already entered the ranks of the true monarch. And Yi Tian's own progress is also relatively large, and the soul and the avenue have been integrated by 30%. It's a pity that the half-step true ancestor realm cannot improve the physical strength. Yi Tian sighed. Half-step true ancestor realm does not improve the realm of divine power and physical body, but enhances the power of divine soul. With the fusion of Tao and divine soul, the divine soul becomes stronger and stronger, and the control over the body is stronger and stronger, so the strength that is exerted is naturally more and more. Fear. For example, Yi Tian, his strength has not improved much, but his strength has at least doubled. Little junior brother, come to the meeting. Longhai Zhenjin sent a message. After Yi Tian received it, he instantly traveled through space and came to the Hall of Void Heaven. The Hall of Void Heaven, the conference hall. A true monarch named half-step true ancestor came here, and the total number was nearly 1,000. If it was in the past, there would not be so many half-step true ancestors in the Zushan lineage. After all, it takes a long time for the Zushan lineage to be able to give birth to a true ancestor, and it is already an exaggeration to have 10 half-step true ancestors at the same time. And now, thousands of half-step true ancestors are gathered together. What a terrifying thing. Yi Tian and Longhai Zhenjin can be said to be the highest level of the Zushan temple, but they are not the ones who preside over this meeting. Boom, a wisp of Tao ancestor's breath came in and out. The next moment, the incarnation of a Taoist ancestor descended. But this Daozu is not the Zushan Daozu. The incarnation of Zushan Daozu has been retreating somewhere in the battlefield ruins, and has not yet come out. At this time, the Daozu who descended was named Yuanshi Daozu, who was a direct disciple of Zushan Daozu. But Yuanshi Daozu is already Daozu. Even if Yi Tian and him are senior brothers, they can't call each other as seniors, but call each other as Daozu to show their respect. I have seen Taoist Yuani. I have seen Taoist Yuani. I have seen the Taoist ancestor Yuani. 1. Many half-step true ancestors respectfully said. Yuanshi Daozu is the second-level Taoist ancestor, and the incarnation he descended could not even beat Yi Tian, but no one dared to disrespect him. After the incarnation of the Taoist ancestor Yuanshi descended, he looked around and said, "Everyone, I'm here to tell you one thing. According to the investigations of many Taoist ancestors, there is another relic that fluctuates somewhere in the quasi-Tao world. How long before that relic will be born? This time the relic is different from usual. This relic is full of strange atmosphere. It seems to be an unknown place. And according to our calculations, the incarnations of Taoist ancestors cannot come and enter. There the rules do not allow the powerhouse above the true ancestor to enter. Yuanshi Daozu, since you don't know the situation of the ruins, why did you personally come to tell us the situation?" Zhenjin Longhai asked curiously. Because a fourth-level heavenly Tao ancestor of the four transcendental forces, using the technique of calculation, calculated that this ruin contains a great chance. For you half-step true ancestors, it is undoubtedly a real big chance. According to the information, there it is very likely that you will have a combination of treasures, and there are almost no sequelae of the combination of treasures, and there are more than one. Your task is to enter the ruins, capture as many treasures as possible, and cultivate more for our virtual world. Daozu. Yuanshi Daozu said. What? Harmony treasure. Many half-step true ancestors were excited. Align. They are now almost guaranteed to be promoted to the real ancestor realm, but they have no hope of being promoted to the Taoist realm. Although the ancestral monument has 9 quotas, how many true ancestors will compete for these 9 quotas in the future? Hope is too small, too small. Other treasures, such as the heaven-splitting divine pillar in Etienne's hands, can also be used to join the Tao, but the restrictions are too great. Once used, it will be bound by the splitting heaven divine pillar. Therefore, these great flawed treasures are attractive to some true monarchs, but they dare not use them on themselves. But there are no flaws in the harmony treasure, the value is too great, they naturally want one by one. However, they have hardly heard of such treasures, and maybe some people have them, but no one is willing to reveal them. Today, there are many relics of He Daobao 323 items appearing, which is a great opportunity for them. At this time, Daozu Yuanqi's words made many half-step true ancestors solemn. Don't think that you can get the treasures of the Tao when you enter it. When the major forces enter it, they will inevitably fight wildly, and the possibility of falling is very high. Moreover, this ruin is very likely to hide living domain creatures. Even if you encounter the true ancestor who forcibly awakened, that possibility exists. When everyone heard this, they all calmed down. Yes. Treasures are available, but one must have the strength to obtain them, otherwise the treasures cannot be obtained, and life may be lost. Remember, you are only allowed to know about this matter, and you are not allowed to tell non-half-step true ancestor disciples and others. This opportunity is only open to half-step true ancestor. If the true monarchs and heavenly monarchs also enter, there will be too many people. It is easy to cause unknown changes. Moreover, the major forces do not want too many true monarchs who have been cultivated with great difficulty. Last time, the true monarchs of the major forces fell too much in the battlefield ruins. Although they have made up a lot now, the growth rate of true monarchs is too slow, and the number of top true monarchs is not as good as in the past. Therefore, such things, the major forces do not want to happen. Yuanqi Daozu said. Yes, the crowd responded. In this way, the meeting ended, and the half-step true ancestors left one after another and went back to prepare. No one is willing to give up even if the danger is very high to become a Taoist ancestor. And Etienne naturally won't give up. He also wants to enter the unknown ruins. Chapter 1032 The Promise Abyss. Although Etienne does not need treasures, he can easily join the Tao, but it does not mean that he is not interested in treasures. Some harmony treasures play an auxiliary role, and there are no sequelae. Both Xiaoyu and Yiyu need such harmony treasures, and the rest of the human race also need harmony treasures. For the human race, Etienne is very attentive and wants to make every effort to develop the human race. If the human race gave birth to a large number of Taoist ancestors, even in the face of the future prosperity, it would be enough to protect themselves. Moreover, he also needs a lot of resources. At present, he does not lack resources, but if he is promoted to the top true ancestor level or even the Tao ancestor level, some top-level resources will not be enough. Sometimes, no amount of ordinary resources can be exchanged for a top-level resource. For example, now, the entire net worth of 10,000 top true ancestors can't even think of getting a treasure that can help 100% of the Tao, but in fact, the value of such a treasure itself is not very high. But everyone in this realm wants such treasures, and naturally they are willing to go bankrupt to buy them. In fact, no one is willing to sell it, because a Taoist treasure often represents a Taoist ancestor. If more Taoist ancestors can be born, the top powers are willing to spend all their wealth, because there are more Taoist ancestors and stronger strength, so they can obtain more resources. Time flies, and more than 100 years have passed. This day, Daozu Yuanqi informed the half-step true ancestors of Zushan Temple that the ruins were born. As a result, the famous half-bust true ancestors of the Void Heaven Temple left the Void Heaven True Kingdom one after another, and only a few half-BU true ancestors thought that their strength was not enough, did not dare to take risks, and gave up this opportunity. Such a choice can't be wrong. After all, it is safe, at least you can live for a long time. If you are lucky in the future, maybe you can get the opportunity to be promoted to Daozu. The real kingdom of the Dark Realm. This is the true kingdom of the Dark Domain Demon Sect, and this time the relics appear in this true kingdom. The Dark Domain Demon Sect is not very strong. There is only one Taoist ancestor, the second-level Taoist ancestor. There are many such large forces in the chaos, and they are considered to be very ordinary large forces, only better than some forces that only have the first-level Taoist ancestor. Different from other real kingdoms, the real kingdom of the Dark Realm is filled with an energy called Dark Demonic Energy, which is the environment forcibly transformed by the Dark Realm Demon Sect. In the dark magic atmosphere, the powerhouses of the Dark Domain Demon Sect will cultivate faster. And because the dark devil energy is relatively strong, the real kingdom of the dark realm looks gloomy as a whole. Clap la la, a teleportation formation, a famous half-step true ancestor appeared here, and Etienne was also among them. This is a huge city not far from the ruins Dark Spirit City. All the half-step true ancestors must be teleported here through the cross-border teleportation array, and then enter the ruins from here. Etienne came to the real kingdom of the dark realm, sensed the environment here, and couldn't help frowning. Although the environment here has little effect on him, he does not like to stay here. Many half-step true ancestors. Etienne glanced around and said secretly. Not to mention the half-step true ancestors who have not yet arrived here, the number of half-step true ancestors in Dark Spirit City alone may have reached as many as 100,000. 100,000 and a half-step true ancestors. If they do not fall, the future will be 100,000 true ancestors. This number was simply too much in the past, and there was no way to gather so many true ancestors in any place, but it is very normal now, and the number of true ancestors will increase. With the arrival of a famous half-step true ancestor, the situation about this relic gradually spread among the half-step true ancestors, and Etienne also knew more about the situation of this relic. Since the specific situation inside the ruins is not clear, it is impossible to let all the half-step true ancestors enter all at once, and a small group of half-step true ancestors must be sent into it. And the specific news is passed on by those half-step true ancestors. Now, the situation is good and bad. First, this relic is very strange and the environment is very bad. It seems to be a forbidden area belonging to the domain. To be precise, it should be a forbidden area fragment. Shards of the Promise Abyss. Etienne muttered to himself. The Promise Abyss is an abyss in the domain. It is a forbidden place that was born out of the dark energy of endless years after the domain was opened up. The reason why it is a forbidden place is because the powerhouse above the true ancestor will encounter great horrors once entering it, and the power above the true ancestor is almost difficult to use in the infinite abyss. Therefore, once the true ancestor and Tao ancestor entered the profound abyss, they were almost certain to die. Only some of the most powerful Tao patriarchs could survive in the Promise Abyss. The Promise Abyss has 9 layers, and it is currently unclear which layer of abyss fragments fell here. But no matter which layer of abyss fragments it is, the threat is very great, and the biggest danger is the abyss monster. The abyss monsters are full of blood devouring and killing, aiming to kill all creatures, and even killing each other all the time. Abyss monsters are very powerful and difficult to kill. The only drawback is that they lack wisdom. But once surrounded by a large number of abyss monsters, no matter how strong it is very dangerous. The fragments of the domain passed through the dark forbidden area. The abyss monsters in this ruins should have almost died at the beginning, but the infinite abyss can always give birth to abyss monsters. There was once a Zhejiang Tian Dao ancestor holding a supreme Taoist weapon and entered. The Promise Abyss swept through the 9 layers of the Promise Abyss, annihilating almost all the abyss monsters, but after many years, the Promise Abyss was filled with abyss monsters again. This is the information Etienne knew from the Black Wind Mountain book space. It can be said that the abyss cannot be destroyed, and the monsters in the abyss cannot be completely destroyed. The Promise Abyss is indeed extremely dangerous, but it has always attracted a lot of true monarchs and half-step true ancestors. They entered the Promise Abyss. Although most of them have fallen, many people have gained great benefits many of them harvest some harmony treasures. Because of this, the Promise Abyss is not only a forbidden place, but also the cradle of the half-step true ancestor's dream. This day, the Promise Abyss fragment ruins were officially open to all half-step true ancestors. One half-step true ancestor passed through the entrance of the ruins and entered the Promise Abyss fragments. On the dry and pitch-black land, the corpses of abyss monsters full of ancient breath are everywhere, many of which have been broken, and even turned into bones, but the coldness still fills the hearts of every half-step true ancestor. Etienne walks on such a land, and is also very dignified. He can be sure that there are abyssal monsters, otherwise Shu Abyss will be so broken, as if he was befriended by other deep. Roar gong. A roar came. The abyss monster is coming. Etienne whispered. Chapter 1033 Terrible Abyss Monsters. An abyss demon wolf the size of the ancient sacred mountain quickly came to Etienne and the others. At this time, there are about hundreds of half-step true ancestor-level powerhouses in this area, and they happened to encounter this abyss demon wolf, but no one was afraid. Little abyss demon wolf, courting death. A half-step true ancestor held a half-Tao weapon spear and killed the abyss demon wolf, as if he wanted to show himself and show his powerful strength. To describe it in one word, it is show off. However, here comes the trouble. Bang! The half-Taoist spear stabbed the abyss demon wolf, making a metallic crashing sound. This time, the half-step true ancestor changed completely. With his strength, coupled with the power of the half-path weapon spear, it is enough to easily pierce a half-step true ancestor who has no means of defense, and even a weaker true ancestor will be pierced by a single blow. But this abyss demon wolf completely blocked his half-weapon spear with only physical defense. What a terrifying defense. All half-step true ancestors were very surprised and couldn't believe this scene. However, Yi Tian felt that it was very normal. Others might not know much about the abyss monsters, but Yi Tian had some understanding. The abyss monsters are constantly tempered by the abyss demonic energy, coupled with their own physique and abyss bloodline. The growth rate is very high, so the body is tempered to be extremely terrifying. It is difficult for practitioners of the same level to compete with abyss monsters in terms of physique, unless they are the kind of practitioners who are more enchanting. 323 and the half-step true ancestor just now is actually quite ordinary. He used to be only a top true monarch, and he is far from qualified to enter the true monarch ranking. His strength is not very strong, so naturally he can't deal with this abyss demon wolf. Wow, the abyss demon wolf grabbed it with one claws and directly knocked the half-step true ancestor flying out. 000. This half-step true ancestor flew upside down in the air while coughing up blood. The injury was quite serious, and a stream of abyss demonic energy continued to invade his body, making it difficult for his injury to recover. When he landed, his entire body suddenly burst open, and his vitality quickly passed away. Died. At this time, many half-step true ancestors were very shocked. One half-step true ancestor was killed by the abyss demon wolf. This is simply too terrifying. Under normal circumstances, even if the difference in strength between the two half-step true ancestors is quite large, it is difficult to kill them with one blow. Instead, they need to wipe out each other's vitality again and again before they can kill each other. Kill the opponent with one blow, unless the power gap is unimaginable. But they could sense just now that the attack of the abyss demon wolf was not much higher than that of the half-step true ancestor, and the real cause of the death of the half-step true ancestor was the abyss demonic energy. The abyss demonic energy of the infinite abyss contains terrifying erosive power. CJFI can instantly erode the vitality of a half-step true ancestor, so once it is severely injured, it will die almost instantly, and there is no time to recover. For a time, many half-step true ancestors really panicked and did not dare to fight with this abyss demon wolf at all. Wanfa Daozi is here, a half-step true ancestor spoke up. Immediately, all hopeful eyes turned to Yi Tian. Please also ask Wanfa Daozi to kill this abyss demon wolf, we will be grateful. Please also ask Wanfa Daozi to kill this abyss demon wolf, we will be grateful. Please also ask Wanfa Daozi to kill this abyss demon wolf, we will be grateful. A famous half-step true ancestor asked. Yi Tian casually hit the air with a shock, then turned around and left, disappearing. How did Daozi Wanfa go? Many half-step true ancestors were stunned. At this time, a half-step true ancestor noticed the situation of the abyss demon wolf and exclaimed, "Look! I saw that the abyss demon wolf's movements were stagnant, and his body gradually shattered into nothingness." Hiss! Take a breath of fresh air. Yi Tian killed such a terrifying abyss demon wolf with a single blow. This level of strength is too terrifying. As expected of the Wanfa Daozi who can kill Daozu's incarnation, his strength is too strong. A half-step true ancestor exclaimed. Immediately, these half-step true ancestors left, but they did not dare to be too high profile, but they were cautious one by one, and even quickly fled away after sensing the breath of the abyss monster. Along the way, Yi Tian encountered a lot of abyss monsters, and as long as they encountered them, they would kill them one after another. Gradually, he had a general understanding of the strength of these abyss monsters. Most of the abyss monsters are relatively weak, probably equivalent to the weaker half-step true ancestors, and there are even a few abyss monsters that are only equivalent to true monarchs, and the best of them are comparable to the top half-step true ancestors. However, the ruins of the Promise Abyss fragment are very large, and Yi Tian can't guarantee whether there are any abyss monsters that threaten him. But one thing is certain, there are many good things in the fragments of the Promise Abyss. Although the number of treasures here is not large enough, there are no low-level treasures. For example, some precious ores can be used to forge Dao artifacts, some magical medicines can be used to refine medicinal pills that enhance the strength of the true ancestor, some abyss monster corpses are basically good things, and they are covered with treasures. Although there are many good things, Yi Tian is not very satisfied. What he wants to find most is the treasure of the Dao, which is the real good thing. Once he finds one, then this trip to the ruins of the infinite abyss will not be in vain. Somewhere in the ruins of the infinite abyss, 10 half-step true ancestors came to an abyss ruin, where there was an ancient palace. Logically speaking, there should not be any relics in such an infinite abyss, let alone a temple built by practitioners. But the 10 half-step true ancestors did not panic, instead they were vaguely excited. Chance. They believe that this is a chance, and even speculate that it is the inheritance of a powerful existence. So, they broke into this palace. But soon, disaster begins. As soon as the 10 half-step true ancestors entered the hall, they encountered a human-shaped abyss monster with a pair of swords forefoot. One person and one knife. 10 half-step true ancestors were only killed by this abyss monster with 10 knives. If these 10 half-step true ancestors are ordinary half-step true ancestors, that's all. The key is that they are not weak. They have basically reached the pinnacle of half-step true ancestors, and one of the half-step true ancestors is the official disciple of Daozu, has also entered the true monarch ranking, although it is only at the end, but it is enough to prove his strength. But this half-step true ancestor, who was at the top among the large number of half-step true ancestors in the quasi-Dao world, was also killed by a knife, which is enough to prove the terrifying and powerful of this abyss monster. But after the death of these 10 half-step true ancestors, the abyss monster with both hands and forefoot spoke up. If they heard this abyss monster speak, they would definitely not believe it. Because according to the information, the abyss monsters have very low intelligence, and everything relies on instinct, and it is impossible to survive. I saw this abyss monster said, 10 half-step true ancestors, it seems that I have successfully reached the alien realm, and the sect master's plan has succeeded. Unfortunately, I can't leave the infinite abyss fragment for the time being, and I can only become the real ancestor, can temporarily get rid of the identity of the abyss monster, and completely transform into an abyss noble like an abyss lord. 1. After saying this, the abyss monster fell silent. It's a pity that no one heard his words, otherwise many things would definitely be associated with them. Chapter 1034 The Royal Beast Sect and the Abyss Monsters. Similar situations like the 10 half-step true ancestors were staged in the ruins of the infinite abyss, and almost no one could escape when encountering that kind of abyss monster with wisdom. But nothing is absolute, there are always exceptions. In a mountain range in the Promise Abyss, true monarch Ghost Shadow is fleeing rapidly. He keeps condensing ghost shadows to escape in all directions. Each ghost shadow is the same as the main body. This is his most proud of a secret escape technique, which can transform 3,000 shadows, and the enemy is short. Time is hard to tell. This gave him hope of escape. At this moment, behind him was an abyss demon cat jumping in the void, and every time he jumped, a ghost shadow clone of Ghost Shadow True Monarch would be killed. One ghost shadow clone is killed, and the power of the ghost shadow is constantly lost. Once the ghost shadow clone is killed too much, the power of the ghost shadow will be permanently lost, and it will take a long time to be able to practice again. But in order to avoid that strange and terrifying abyss cat, he must do this, otherwise he will die. He could feel that once he was caught up, those life-saving things on his body would not be able to save his life at all. The opponent's strength was too strong, and it was very strange, and the abyss demonic energy could instantly kill him. Damn, how can there be such a powerful abyss monster? 1. True Monarch Ghost Shadow wondered. He has also encountered a lot of abyss monsters before. Although he is not weak, he can still kill them with his strength, but this time the abyss monsters encountered in a ruin are like real practitioners. Wisdom, and the understanding of the Tao is too deep, far beyond him. Therefore, he has no defensive power. Originally, there were several half-step true ancestors with him, but this time they all died, leaving him alone. With the passage of time, after consuming a lot of ghost avatars and his strength dropped, the Ghost Master finally got rid of the strange abyss cat. At the same time, he passed this information to the other half-step true ancestors of the Dark Temple. Gradually, the news came out again, and the half-step true ancestor encountered wise abyss monsters one after another, and the news was completely leaked. The ruins of the infinite abyss, in an underground palace. One after another abyss monsters gathered here, and their eyes were filled with the light of wisdom, and they were all wise abyss monsters. The strength of these abyss monsters is very strong, although none of them exceed the category of half-step true ancestors, but each of them is far superior to ordinary half-step true ancestors, comparable to some genius-level true ancestors' early-stage powerhouses. Sudden, an abyss monster with a height of 100 meters and 2 horns on the top of its head appeared. He glanced around with his eyes, and the abyss monsters lowered their noble heads one after another. According to the division of the infinite abyss, this is an abyss monster whose strength is infinitely close to the Lord level abyss bull demon. Strictly speaking, this abyss bull demon has a powerful abyss bloodline, and its potential is very strong, and its strength is far stronger than some new abyss lords. If the abyss is still the abyss before, this abyss bull demon is definitely the top noble of the abyss, and its status is far above the general lord. Meet Lord Morn, meet Lord Morn, meet Lord Morn. An abyss monster bowed and worshipped, and his tone was full of respect. Kitten, I heard that you let off a half-step true ancestor cultivator, causing our existence to be exposed. The abyss bull demon Moen said coldly. Wow. An abyss demon cat stood out tremblingly and said in fear, Lord Moen, that practitioner can transform into 3,000 shadows, almost the same as the main body. I can't tell it apart in a short time, although my speed is very fast, but every time they didn't kill his body, and he finally escaped. Humph. Moen snorted coldly. The abyss demon cat coughed up blood and lay on the ground, obviously not lightly injured. From this, it can be seen how powerful the abyss bull demon Moen is. Forget it this time, Moen said solemnly. Sooner or later, our existence will be exposed, and it will be exposed sooner. You should know that our Beast Master sect has been studying abyss monsters, which is taboo in the realm of God and heaven. Now, in order to avoid the disaster of traveling through the dark forbidden area, the people of our beast sect have merged with abyss monsters to resist the power of the dark forbidden area, and only 30% of the sect disciples can survive. And those who go to the third heaven, the disciples of the sects of the forces, I am afraid that it is not bad to be able to survive. This is the advantage of our beast sect, but after all, this is a taboo method. Once other forces find out, our beast sect will be in trouble. Lord Moen, 1/5 of the domain was forcibly thrown into the dark forbidden domain by the domain master with supreme power, and traveled through the dark forbidden domain to this strange domain. The major forces suffered heavy casualties. If you have the mind to take care of our beast sect again. An abyss monster said. Ask for flowers. Don't forget, the world lord forcibly threw 1/5 of the territory in order to preserve the power, and the forces of the world lord's subordinates may survive a lot. If they discover the situation of our beast sect, I am afraid we will not spare our beast master sect. Today's plan is to completely transform this abyss fragment, master it, and establish our own abyss monster force here. In this way, other forces will not dare to trouble us. This is a brand new era, is also a new hope for the rise of our beast master sect. Even in the future, our beast master sect can become a power in the upper 3 layers of heaven, and even surpass the power in the upper 3 layers of heaven. What Moen said made the hearts of all the disciples of the beast sect surging, but some people knew very well that the background of the beast sect was too low and too low. The reason why they dared to enter the abyss was to take advantage of the abyss being penetrated, and the powerful abyss monsters swarmed again. It has been cleaned up again, otherwise the Imperial Beast sect would have no chance to develop such an opportunity. Of course, the Beast Master sect today is no longer a cultivator force, but an abyss monster force. The abyss monsters under the true ancestor are just monsters, but if the abyss monsters at the true ancestor level are no longer monsters, they are abyss nobles and abyss demons. In the realm of God and heaven, there are also such abyss demon forces, but they are no longer in their realm. If their Beast Master sect continues to develop like this, they can also become an abyss demon power. Lord Morn, many half-step true ancestors in this strange realm have entered the abyss of our beast-controlling abyss. How should we deal with it? An abyss monster of the Imperial Beast sect asked. The abyss was named after the abyss of the Imperial Beasts, which shows that the Imperial Beast sect really took this place as their base camp. Look first, Morn said. They are all on the periphery of the beast-fighting abyss. As long as they don't go deep into the inner area, we don't need to care about them. But if they dare to break into the inner area, then kill them all. In addition, hurry up time to arrange the abyss of the beasts. Once the entire abyss of the beasts is completely shrouded in the great formation of our beast-controlling sect, we can slowly transform this place until we can completely control everything here. Make certain achievements, understand? Yes, many abyss monsters responded one by one. Chapter 1035 Kill the Disciple of the Imperial Beast Sect. The meeting of these abyss monsters from the Imperial Beast sect ended soon, and they left one by one to the area they guarded. They have been arranging the formation, but it is a pity that their awakening time is too short. This is because there is the foundation of the formation that the Taoist ancestors of the beast-fighting sect had arranged before, otherwise, no matter how many abyss monsters of the half-step true ancestor level, they would not be able to successfully arrange the big formation. In addition, there are many monsters in the abyss that pose a huge threat to these abyss monsters of the Beastmaster sect. After all, the people of their Beastmaster sect are only transformed into abyss monsters, which does not mean that other abyss monsters can be ordered. Abyss monsters follow classes. For example, abyss nobles can command a large number of abyss monsters, but only if they are approved by the will of the abyss and become the abyss lord of an area, they can order other abyss monsters within their territory. However, they have not yet become abyss lords, they are just abyss monsters, and naturally there is no way to order other abyss monsters. Although the Royal Beast Abyss is only a fragment of the Promise Abyss, there are still lords in the core area, but these abyss lords hardly leave their territory. As long as they don't provoke them, the problem is not big. But once they are provoked, these abyss monsters will be finished. A wise abyss monster with great strength. Yi Tian learned this news from the other half-step true ancestors of the Zushan Temple, and was rather surprised. Because according to his understanding, as well as his understanding of the Promise Abyss from the Black Wind Mountain, it is almost impossible for abyss monsters to have wisdom, unless an abyss noble like the Abyss Lord has a certain wisdom. But the abyss monster wants to become the abyss lord. It is many times more difficult than the true monarch to become the true ancestor, and it is possible for countless abyss monsters to give birth to an abyss noble. Moreover, once an abyss monster becomes an abyss lord, it still needs to go through the assessment of the will of the abyss. Once the assessment is completed, the soul will be transformed and wisdom will be born, but if it fails, it will definitely die. Therefore, there are very few abyss nobles. But judging from the news, it was not the abyss lord that appeared, but the abyss monster. Strange, how can abyss monsters have wisdom? This almost breaks the rules of the abyss. Yi Tian wondered. The abyss monsters are very strong. From the perspective of bloodline and physique, many abyss monsters are enough to compete with the weaker half-step ancestors just by relying on their physical bodies. And once the abyss monster has wisdom and understands the way of cultivation, its strength will inevitably become extremely terrifying. And such abyss monsters have a very high chance of being promoted to abyss lords. If there are too many abyss monsters with wisdom like this, then the abyss demons will not only rule the realm, but at least become a huge force that cannot be underestimated in the realm, and even rush out of the infinite abyss and come to the outside world. But in fact, although the Promise Abyss is a forbidden area, it is also based on the rules, otherwise a Promise Abyss is not powerful at all. Any force in the upper third layer can send a Supreme Tao ancestor to enter it and sweep it. The so-called forbidden area is only for the lower three heaven forces and the middle three heaven forces. It seems that the Promise Abyss has changed, and an abyss monster of wisdom has been born, and I am afraid that there is more than one. Such abyss monsters are too powerful, and among the fragments of the Promise Abyss, although they are also restricted by rules, but there is hope. Promoted to the ranks of the true ancestors, even the rules of the quasi-Tao world can hardly affect the rules in the shards of the infinite abyss. Here, it is almost a world of its own. As long as you don't leave here, the Abyss Lord's strength will be suppressed at most, and he will not be crushed to death by the rules. Yi Tian thought to himself. He estimated his own strength, and if he really met the Abyss Lord, he probably wouldn't be able to beat him. The Abyss Lord is known as the top bloodline in the realm of the gods, and only the top geniuses among the practitioners are expected to compete with the Abyss Lord at the same level. And what is the concept of the top genius in the divine sky realm? Similar to true monarch Longhai, who was passed down by Taoist ancestors, in the realm of God and heaven, he might not be called the top genius. Yi Tian thinks that his strength is abnormal, but his hope is not very high to challenge the Abyss Lord by leaps and bounds. Unless he reaches the extreme on the road of the half-step true ancestor, he is expected to defeat an Abyss Lord. Be careful. Yi Tian knows that his previous understanding of the Promise Abyss and common sense are probably useless. The changes here are very big, and it is no longer the previous Promise Abyss. Moreover, there is still a problem. There are intelligent creatures in the Promise Abyss. Will they also collect treasures? Under normal circumstances, the treasures that are helpful to practitioners are not useful to the Abyss Lord, and the Abyss Lord will not take the initiative to collect these treasures. But those intelligent creatures can also build palaces, and their intelligence is also very high, almost the same as cultivators. Maybe they will really collect treasures. If this is the case, most of the treasures of the infinite abyss may be in these abyss of wisdom monsters, even if there are some existing in the infinite abyss, but there must be not many. This day, Yi Tian was flying, sensing a water palace in an abyss river. In this water palace, Yi Tian's copy talent detected an abyss monster. The situation detected by the replicable talent surprised him. Abyss monster. Li Kang. Cultivation talent. 2 advanced. Source talent. Super God Level Extreme. Source Speed Talent. Super God Level Extreme. Source Talent. Super God Level Extreme. Demon Talent. Super God Extreme. Source Gun Talent. No Superior. Source Water Talent. Super God Level Extreme. Judging from the talent situation, the talent of this abyss monster is very good, but this is not normal. The power of other abyss monsters depends on blood and physique, not talent. But this abyss monster's talent is the same as that of a genius cultivator, and it also has a cultivator-like name, which is too strange. Along the way, many of the abyss monsters he probed had almost no names, and a name represented too many meanings. This abyss monster is not only an intelligent creature, but apart from its identity, it is no different from a cultivator. Could it be? Yi Tian thought of a possibility, that is, this abyss monster is actually a cultivator, but the cultivator occupies the body of the abyss monster. Under normal circumstances, this is almost impossible to do, but there are all kinds of strange secret techniques in the realm of the gods. Maybe there is a secret technique that forcibly occupies the body of the abyss monster, and there are no sequelae. You can continue to practice. Catch him, maybe you'll know the situation. Yi Tian flew down and quickly approached the water palace. At this time, the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect who were arranging the formation in the water palace sensed Yi Tian's arrival, and immediately frowned. Another half-step true ancestor is here, these people are really courting death. The disciple of the Imperial Beast sect put down the work in his hand and rushed out. He didn't want to put the battle in his own water palace, which would damage the water palace, and would also destroy his formation restrictions. Die! The Imperial Beast sect disciple stretched out his abyss claws and grabbed Yi Tian. If it is an ordinary half-step true ancestor, he can kill the opponent with one grab. However, he far underestimated Yi Tian's strength. I saw that Yi Tian had activated the yin and yang bipolar sword, the original supernatural power, and condensed a sword light that instantly smashed the abyss claws of this disciple of Yu Beast sect. Half of the body was chopped to pieces. Next, Yi Tian suppressed the severely injured disciples of the Beast sect with the Black Wind Territory technique, and performed a door-to-door sealing secret technique on them. Black Wind Territory, you are a disciple of Haifeng Mountain, misunderstanding. The disciples of the Imperial Beast sect were shocked and hurriedly said. Yi Tian was taken aback by this opening. You, an abyss monster, actually recognizes the Black Wind domain art. Yi Tian asked 5.8. The disciple of the Imperial Beast sect immediately realized that he had slipped the tongue, but he could no longer regret it. Say, what's your origin? Yi Tian questioned in a cold voice, pressing a hand on the head of this Beast sect disciple. The power in his hand was circulating, and he would crush his head and annihilate his soul at any time. The disciples of the Imperial Beast sect were extremely frightened, and they wanted to say something but didn't dare to say it. And secretly, he sent out a message. Yi Tian sensed his message, and without saying a word, directly crushed the opponent's head, and attacked the opponent's body with various attack methods, preventing the opponent from healing and recovering. In the blink of an eye, the life of this Beast Master sect disciple was completely lost and turned into an abyss monster corpse. Yi Tian also guessed that the other party might not be able to tell the truth. This was the only way to prevent the mutation and kill him, which was also a helpless move. Afterwards, Yi Tian found a small storage space on his body, and there were a lot of treasures in it. When Yi Tian browsed through the treasures on his body, he roughly knew the identity of the other party. Chapter 1036 Harmony Treasure, Scarlet Gang Refining Heaven Crystal. It turned out to be a disciple of the Imperial Beast sect. Yi Tian was quite surprised. Although he didn't know about the Beast sect, he also knew the existence of the Beast sect from the many classics in the battlefield ruins. This is a middle-level 3-level power, to be precise, a 5th-level power, which belongs to the middle level among the middle-level 3-level powers, and this kind of power is already quite good. In addition, the Imperial Beast sect also controls a large number of Dao Ancestor-level Imperial Beasts. Coupled with their beast guarding abilities, they can control an endless army of chaotic beasts, and even the weaker 5 heavenly powers are not willing to offend them. But the question is, how did the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect become the Abyss monsters? This is not a disguise, but a real Abyss monster. If I'm not mistaken, there are more than one disciples of the Imperial Beast sect who have become monsters in the Abyss, and even Yi Tian couldn't imagine it. Once his last guess was confirmed, it would mean that the entire Beast Master sect had undergone tremendous changes. Perhaps all the disciples and high-level officials of the Beast Master sect had turned into Abyss monsters. What is the use of becoming an Abyss monster? That is an obvious benefit, Such as it is difficult to kill 29, the strength skyrockets in an instant, and the cultivation base of becoming the true ancestor is greater and the potential is higher. Just like the disciple of the royal beast sect just now, after he became an abyss monster, his cultivation did not reach the level of the true ancestor, but his strength crushed the top half-step true ancestor. Such strength is placed among the practitioners. He is definitely the most enchanting Tianzhao character, but as long as the disciples of the royal beast sect become abyss monsters, almost everyone has such strength. It is conceivable that once the imperial beast sect masters the secret technique of turning into an abyss monster, it is not impossible for all members to transform into an abyss monster. You must pass the news to the other half-step true ancestors of the Zushan temple, at least make them a little mentally prepared. Although these abyss monsters of the imperial beast sect are powerful, they can't actually use weapons and other secret techniques. There are enough ancestors, and if you have trump cards, there is still hope to compete against them. Yi Tian estimated. However, at least one top half-step true ancestor and dozens of powerful half-step true ancestors are needed to join forces to fight against one, and they must be united, otherwise, if they make a single shot, they will definitely be hit in a short time. Kill. Afterwards, Yi Tian passed the news to the other half-step true ancestors of the Zushan temple, and the half-step true ancestors of the Zushan temple also made friends with people from other forces, and also spread the news. In this way, not long after, the half-step true ancestors in the shards of the infinite abyss basically knew about the beast-fighting sect. Yi Tian continued to organize the treasures of the disciples of the imperial beast sect, and soon made new discoveries. A harmonious treasure. Yi Tian was overjoyed. I saw that he was holding a red long stick in his hand, a very small one, only about half a meter long, but it exudes a kind of special energy. With the identification method mastered by Yi Tian, it can be identified naturally. This is impressively a kind of treasure that can assist the combination of the Tao. It's a bit like Kai Gang refining Tianjing. Yi Tian guessed. After various methods of identification, he finally determined that this thing is really Scarlet Gang refining heaven crystal, but the shape is a bit strange. The Scarlet Gang refining heaven crystal is a real treasure of the Tao, and it is a treasure of the Tao that has no side effects. It can increase the treasure of refining spirit, energy and spirit by 30%. A 30% chance is already a very high chance. Under normal circumstances, if a top true ancestor wants to hit the Tao ancestor realm, without using the treasure of the ancestral monument, there is only a 1,000th of the probability, or even a 10,000th, of only relying on himself to join the Tao. 1 in 10,000. Even the top 3 heaven forces can only make 1% of the top true ancestors promoted to Taoist ancestors. And increasing the probability of 30%, what kind of concept is this? If you can obtain several more treasures of this combination, then the possibility of a successful combination is very high. This kind of combination is almost relying on oneself to join the road, and the potential is very high. It has the hope of impacting the 4th level or even the 5th level Taoist ancestors. It is not known how much stronger than those who rely on the ancestors to join the Tao. Therefore, the value of this Scarlet Gang refining heaven crystal is even comparable to a quota for an ancestral monument. For true geniuses, the number of ancestral monuments is not worth mentioning, and the Scarlet Gang refining Tianjing is useful to them. This is a big profit. Yi Tian smiled happily. He has now determined that the disciples of the Beastmaster sect really collected the treasures in advance, and maybe everyone has 1 or 2 treasures. If you say that, as long as you kill the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect, you will be able to continuously obtain the treasures of harmony. Yi Tian thought to himself. This plan works, but it's a bit risky. He is not sure if there is an Abyss Lord in the Imperial Beast sect. The strength of the Abyss Lord is too strong. If multiple Abyss Lords appear together, he may not be able to escape. It shouldn't be very likely. Under the suppression of the rules of the quasi-Tao world, even the fragments of the infinite abyss will be affected. Even if there is an Abyss Lord in the Imperial Beast sect, it may not be able to wake up now. But Yi Tian knew very well that the Imperial Beast sect could still forcefully awaken the disciples of the Abyss Lord level. After all, the true ancestor appeared on the battlefield ruins. However, the price was too great, the true ancestor was forcibly born, and he couldn't live for long. 323 and among the fragments of the Promise Abyss, even if the Abyss Lord of the Imperial Beast sect was forcibly born to survive, the price must be unbearable. In short, Yi Tian is unlikely to encounter danger. Then look for the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect, and try to kill more disciples of the Imperial Beast sect. Yi Tian muttered. A disciple of the Imperial Beast sect died, and the other disciples of the Imperial Beast sect soon found out. Li Kang is actually dead. Morn said angrily. Li Kang's strength is not weak among the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect, otherwise he would not have been selected to transform into an abyss monster. After all, the transformation of abyss monsters in the Imperial Beast sect also requires a lot of price, and only a few disciples have received this treatment. It stands to reason that with Li Kang's strength, few of the half-step true ancestors can compete with him. Moreover, the abyss monsters have strong recovery ability and strong defense. Even if they can't beat others, there is still a great chance of escaping. But now, Li Kang is dead. The key is that Li Kang is dead, and with the treasures on Li Kang's body as well as the books and materials, his identity is likely to be exposed. In other words, the Imperial Beast sect has been exposed. Since it's exposed, it's no longer hidden. I'm going to kill all the half-step true ancestors. 1. Morn's indifferent voice echoed in this great hall. Chapter 1037 The Imperial Beast sect suffered heavy losses. Be careful, hundreds of half-step true ancestors were fighting for a strange treasure, the glazed green fruit tree, and suddenly felt a murderous intent. The glazed green fruit is a treasure that can improve the fusion of spirit, energy, and spirit. If you eat too much, the probability of trying spirit, and spirit fusion in the future is relatively high. Therefore, although the glazed green fruit cannot directly assist the path, it is very useful and very valuable. At this time, there were at least tens of thousands of glazed green fruits on this glazed green fruit tree, which naturally caused the greed of many half-step true ancestors present. But they did not fight for the first time, but confronted each other and discussed how to divide these fruits. After all, the value of the glazed green fruit is not so great that they can fight. However, they did not expect that other people would dare to release such a strong murderous intention against them, which was equivalent to angering everyone at once. Boom boom boom. Hundreds of half-step true ancestors released their aura at the same time and rolled towards the comers. Boom. The void swayed open, and 3 figures emerged, which were 3 abyss monsters. Abyss monster. A half-step true ancestor was shocked. No, it should be a disciple of the Imperial Beast sect. A half-step true ancestor said solemnly. I didn't expect you to really know our identity, then you must die. One of the abyss monsters said coldly. Kill. The 3 abyss monsters were killed, and their terrifying strength was instantly revealed, killing a half-step true ancestor at a rapid speed. The fight has begun. The 3 abyss monsters are too strong, but the hundreds of half-step true ancestors do not have the kind of half-step true ancestors of the true genius level, and they can't stop the 3 abyss monsters for a while. Although some of the half-step true ancestors have some trump cards, at most one abyss monster will be injured, and once the abyss monster cannot be killed, they will heal quickly with their recovery speed. It is precisely because of this terrifying physique that the abyss monsters are so feared, and the Promise Abyss has become one of the forbidden places. Time passed slowly, and hundreds of half-step true ancestors were almost killed in a short while, and only one half-step true ancestor escaped with an escape-type treasure. This scene didn't just happen here, but happened everywhere in the shards of the Promise Abyss. However, there are also accidents. For example, some unlucky Beastmaster sect disciples encountered the top genius half-step true ancestor with powerful trump cards, and were besieged and killed at a heavy price by several half-step true ancestors. There were also some disciples of the Imperial Beast sect who met Yi Tian and were easily killed by Yi Tian. The 6th one, Yi Tian casually killed a disciple of the Imperial Beast sect, confiscated his treasures, and muttered. Because the fragments of the Promise Abyss are too large, the disciples of the Beast sect are scattered and constantly moving, so it is difficult to find the disciples of the Beast sect, so it took 10 days to kill 6 disciples of the Beast sect. Hey, there are actually 2 harmony treasures. Yi Tian was ecstatic. Before, he beheaded 5 disciples of the Imperial Beast sect, but he only obtained 4 treasures, and one of them did not have the treasure. Obviously, not every disciple of the Imperial Beast sect could find the treasure. As for the dead Beastmaster sect disciple in front of him, it seems that he was lucky and found 2 treasures, but now they all belong to Yi Tian. With the death of a disciple of the Royal Beast sect, Morn was also anxious. If it was the Imperial Beast sect at its peak, Morn didn't care about the death of a few half-step true ancestors, even if hundreds, thousands or even tens of thousands died, he wouldn't care at all. But now it is different. When the domain was shattered, the Beast sect suffered heavy losses, and only a few remnants were left to follow the fragments of the domain to travel through the Dark Forbidden Area. Before traveling through the Dark Forbidden Area, most of the ordinary disciples were directly abandoned, and only brought a group of elites to participate in the plan to transform the Abyss monsters. Statistically, there are not many abyss monsters in the Imperial Beast sect, only tens of thousands, but now there are only a few thousand abyss monsters with true attributes. In the long years to come, it will be difficult for the abyss monsters of the Imperial Beast sect to increase, so if one dies, there will be one less. If any disciple dies, it will be a huge loss. I don't know when, the news that the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect possessed the treasures of the Tao was publicized. As a result, all half-step true ancestors went crazy. The abyss monster of the Imperial Beast sect is indeed very strong, but it is not impossible to kill. As long as the price is paid, it can still be killed. What is the concept of a Taoist treasure? That is the treasure on the road to Taoist ancestors. One by one, the top great forces began to gather half-step true ancestors, and even several great forces joined forces, often hundreds or even thousands of half-step true ancestors joined forces, and the combat power suddenly exploded. It can be said that as long as they do not encounter multiple abyss monsters, they will be fine at all. At the beginning, under the joint efforts of many half-step true ancestors, an abyss monster named U-Beast sect died tragically, and half-step true ancestors died even more. Often only dozens of half-step true ancestors could really kill an abyss monster. But even at such a heavy price, many half-step true ancestors still took the risk, because some half-step true ancestors really survived as treasures. At this time, the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect were also stunned. For them, although the treasures of the combined path are precious, they are not so precious to such a crazy level. The main reason is that they occupy the infinite abyss, so it is easy to obtain the treasures of the combined path, so they do not think it is too precious. But for the half-step true ancestors of this barren realm, the value of a piece of Taoist treasure is too high, enough to make them go crazy and even fight to the death. The wrong estimate caused the Imperial Beast sect to suffer heavy losses. In this good era, there is no shortage of half-step true ancestors for the major forces. As long as the major forces are given time, they can definitely cultivate more half-step true ancestors. What is really lacking is the Taoist ancestor and the opportunity to join the Tao. One after another, the abyss monsters of the Imperial Beast sect died, and the number gradually rose to the number of 100, while the number of deaths of the half-step true ancestor was close to 10,000. But compared to the total number of half-step true ancestors, a mere 10,000 half-step true ancestors is nothing. Therefore, the disciples of the Imperial Beast sect panicked, and they didn't even dare to go out, but instead hid one by one. However, hiding is not the way to solve the problem. Many of the formation restrictions they had arranged before were destroyed one by one, which is simply destroying the plan of the Imperial Beast sect. If the senior members of the Imperial Beast sect wake up and see such a situation, their disciples will definitely have no good fruit to eat. So Morn wasn't ready to stay behind the scenes. He, ready to do it himself. Chapter 1038 Moen and #039, S-Shot, True Inheritance Falls. As the chief disciple of the official disciple of the Royal Beast sect, Moen is also a true disciple, and his strength even surpasses many core disciples. In the Beast Master sect, he even defeated many genius disciples of the true ancestor level, and his strength reached a terrifying level. If it was not for cultivating some kind of secret technique, he would have already entered the ranks of the true ancestor. Now, he has become an abyss monster, but his strength is even more terrifying than before. Even, he can attack the level of the Abyss Lord now, but he did not do so, because once he does, he will be at most a top Abyss Lord in the future. Although there is hope of hitting the Abyss Lord, it is difficult to go too far. Why is it difficult to rush out of the Promise Abyss, and even any Supreme Tao Ancestor can easily sweep the entire Promise Abyss? That's because it is easy for Abyss monsters to be promoted to Lords, but it is difficult to promote Abyss Overlords. The general Abyss Overlords are at most comparable to the second-level Heavenly Tao Ancestor. He doesn't want to be limited to the Abyss Overlords that are only comparable to the second and third heavens, because he has been laying the foundation and wants to temper the evolutionary bloodline. According to the research of U-Beast sect, Abyss monsters are also divided into ordinary Abyss monster bloodline and top Abyss monster bloodline. He now has the top Abyss monster bloodline, which is the standard noble bloodline, but there is also the hegemony bloodline above the noble bloodline. And the bloodline of the top overlord. He is now only the last step away from evolving his bloodline to the bloodline of the overlord. Once he has completed 323, it will not be difficult to become an Abyss Overlord in the future. If he has the opportunity to raise his bloodline to the bloodline level of the top Abyss Overlord, he can easily improve in the future. At the level of the 5th or 6th Tao Ancestor, there is even a glimmer of hope to become the strongest Tao Ancestor. In addition, it is not suitable to be promoted to the Abyss Lord now. If it is forced to be promoted, it will damage the foundation. Therefore, it is better to maintain the strength of the monsters in the Abyss before there is a big change in the world. But even if he is not an Abyss Lord, he is sure to save his life in front of the real Abyss Lord. Ordinary half-step true ancestors and even top half-step true ancestors are like ants in his eyes. If I make a move, no matter how many half-step true ancestors, there will only be death. Morn said confidently. Moen set out from his palace and began to look for the half-step true ancestors of the quasi-Dao world. There are a lot of half-step true ancestors, plus he is very familiar with the Promise Abyss, so it is not difficult to find them. After a while, he found a team of 300 half-step true ancestors. There is an abyss monster flying towards us in front of us, be careful, maybe it is a disciple of the Imperial Beast Sect. 1. Ha ha ha, even if it is a disciple of the Royal Beast Sect, we have a total of 300 half-step true ancestors, and even the Master Qianyuan, even a few disciples of the Royal Beast Sect have to die. Although this team is a miscellaneous team, it has the Qianyuan Zhenjin of the 4 detached forces of Daoshan. Daoshan is one of the 4 transcendental forces. Any half-step true ancestor is very powerful, and Qianyuan Zhenjin is known as the 3rd half-step true ancestor of Daoshan, and his strength far exceeds other half-step true ancestors. With him leading this team, plus the advantage of the number of people, they are not afraid of the disciples of the Beast Sect. As long as they are careful, they are enough to kill the disciples of the Beast Sect. Just as Moen arrived, Zhenjin Qianyuan ordered, all shot. He is not arrogant and careful, and even if this abyss monster is not a disciple of the Imperial Beast Sect, they have nothing to lose. Boom, one after another, the attacks of the original supernatural power and the chaotic supernatural power hit Morn. But suddenly, Morn's figure disappeared. Be careful. Qianyuan Zhenjin loudly reminded. What? A half-step true ancestor suddenly screamed, and saw that his body was torn into 2 halves, and the abyss demonic energy continued to invade his body and soul, annihilating his vitality in a blink of an eye. A half-step true ancestor has fallen. With a scream, a famous half-step true ancestor died, but they did not find Moen's figure. This scene is so bizarre. Get me out. Qianyuan Zhenjin held a long sword, burst out all his strength, and stabbed the void with a sword. The void shook, and a figure was shaken out. Interesting, you were able to spot me. Morn was a little surprised. The means of his integration into the void is a kind of origin divine ability, and it is a void divine ability created by him specially for the body of the abyss monster, which can be perfectly integrated into the void. The space of the infinite abyss is extremely stable, so once it is integrated into the void, the half-step true ancestor is difficult to find. But Qianyuan Zhenjin can cut out his position with one sword and force him out, which is very rare. I just mastered an insight-type origin magic power. Qianyuan Zhenjin said condensedly. He is also very nervous. Judging from the current situation, Moen's strength is higher than him, but he is not sure how strong it is. But he must not let Morn kill a half-step true ancestor, otherwise if the other half-step true ancestors die, he is the only one left who is not Morn's opponent at all. Find out my traces, so what, you still have to die. You dare to hunt and kill our disciples of the Beast Master Sect, you will surely die. Morn said angrily. Next moment, his body became incomparably large, like a mountain, and the terrifying power seemed to crush the space of the infinite abyss. I saw Moen's claws turned into an invincible weapon, grabbing a half-step true ancestor. Under this capture, the void was imprisoned, and a half-step true ancestor could not escape, and was caught and killed one by one. Not good. Qianyuan Zhenjin was terrified. He also joined other half-step true ancestors to kill a Beast Master Sect disciple before, but that Beast Master Sect disciple couldn't compare with the current Beast Master Sect disciple. The disciple of the Imperial Beast Sect in front of him is too powerful, far surpassing other disciples of the Imperial Beast Sect. Escape. Must escape. If he didn't escape, he would probably die. Then just as he escaped a distance, a claw broke through the void and hit him at once. In an instant, Qianyuan Zhenjin's body shattered into many pieces. Although he recovered his body again, his injuries were difficult to recover. Under this blow, Qianyuan Zhenjin was seriously injured and dying. The second blow came again soon. This time, Qianyuan Zhenjin used a life-saving thing, and finally saved his life. Chasing and fleeing, the other half-step true ancestors were torn apart in a short period of time, and Qianyuan True Monarch did not escape completely. Finally, Qianyuan Zhenjin was caught up again. Suddenly, an enchantment appeared around Qianyuan Zhenjin, and he could no longer escape. Disciple of the Royal Beast Sect, do you dare to kill me? I am the true disciple of the transcendent power Daoshan. If you kill me, our Daoshan will destroy your Beastmaster sect. Qianyuan Zhenjin threatened. Hehe, Daoshan, it's just a pseudo 5-layered power, and our beast fighting sect is a real 5-tiered power. Our beast fighting sect destroyed your Daoshan almost. Mo En did not take Qianyuan Zhenjin's threat to heart, and quickly killed him completely. Chapter 1039 Performing Taoism, Morn and Hash 039, S. Fear. The fall of Qianyuan Zhenjin and a group of half-step ancestors is just the beginning. In the following time, a large number of half-step ancestors have fallen, and almost no one can compete with Moen, the chief official disciple of the royal beast sect. Soon, the other half-step true ancestors knew that there was a very powerful abyss monster in the imperial beast sect who was slaughtering the half-step true ancestors. Yi Tian naturally also knew. True monarch Qianyuan is actually dead. Yi Tian was also quite surprised. He has also heard of Qianyuan Zhenjin. After all, he is the half-step ancestor of Daoshan, one of the 4 transcendental forces, and his strength is very powerful, even stronger than his senior brother Longhai Zhenjin, a lot. Such a powerful half-step true ancestor actually died in the hands of a disciple of the beast sect, and he didn't even have a chance to escape, which shows the strength of that disciple of the beast sect. In a flash, another half-month passed. In the past half-month, a large number of half-step true ancestors have fallen, even more than 10,000, which is even more than the half-step true ancestors who fell before, And these half-step true monarchs almost all fell into the hands of Morn. For a while, many half-step true ancestors didn't even dare to show up, but hid, at least they didn't dare to face the imperial beast sect until they had no strength to deal with Moen. This day, Yi Tian was digging for rare ores in a mountain range full of rare mineral veins when he suddenly received a distress call from Longhai Zhenjin. Senior brother Longhai is in danger. Yi Tian was surprised. It was learned from the communication that the true monarch Longhai and several half-step true ancestors of the Zushan temple plus the half-step true ancestors of other forces encountered Moen of the beast fighting sect. At present, they are fleeing with all their strength, and they have fallen to their deaths one by one. Swish, Yi Tian moved quickly and rushed to rescue Zhenjin Longhai. Based on the location of true monarch Longhai, he roughly determined the location of true monarch Longhai, and rushed over at the fastest speed. I'm not very far from senior brother Longhai. With my speed, it won't take long for me to get there. As long as senior brother Longhai is strong enough to save his life, he should be able to persevere until I pass. Yi Tian estimated, but if there is really no way to get there in time, then he has no choice but to help senior brother Longhai take revenge. Time elapses every second, and every second elapses, a half-step true ancestor falls. A famous half-step true ancestor died, and in the end, only Longhai Zhenjin was left. But at this moment, true monarch Longhai has no backhand at all, and can only rely on life-saving things to persevere. Above a forest, true monarch Longhai moved the space treasure here, but soon Moen came here, and the forest was completely annihilated with one blow. Longhai Zhenjin was also penetrated, and his body fell into the forest ruins. After rounds of attacks, he did not know how many times Zhenjin Longhai was annihilated, but Zhenjin Longhai recovered his body again and again by relying on a strange life-saving item, the tears of the Sea of Life. However, this is almost the last life-saving thing. The power of the tears of the Sea of Life is also rapidly exhausting, and it can't last for long. Little junior brother, senior brother, I'm afraid that this time I'm really going to fall. Zhenjin Longhai thought helplessly. He gave up hope and was ready to give up. At this moment, the void split open, an arm protruded out, and a blow blocked Morn's attack. Then, a figure appeared beside true monarch Longhai, and it was Yi Tian who had just rushed over. Senior brother Longhai, are you all right? Yi Tian asked. Little junior brother, if you come a few seconds later, I'm afraid I really won't be able to hold on. Zhenjin Longhai breathed a sigh of relief and said. When Moen saw Yi Tian coming, he didn't care and planned to kill Yi Tian as well. Although Yi Tian had just blocked his strike, he didn't use his full strength, he just made a random strike. Original supernatural power, Abyss Tearing Claw. Moen grabbed it with one claw, and the Abyss Tearing Claw containing terrifying power came with the rules of tearing everything. This claw almost shows Morn's terrifying strength, which can fully release the power of the Abyss monster. Ordinary Abyss monsters have no wisdom and can't create the original supernatural power at all, and Morn's talent is too high, so he created the Abyss original supernatural power such as the Abyss Tearing Claw. If it is classified according to the grade, the abyss-tearing claw is enough to rank the top-grade original supernatural power, and it is also the top-grade high-grade original supernatural power, which is not weaker than Yi Tian's latest perfected Yin-Yang two-pole knife and Junkong. Longhai Zhenjin looked at the coming abyss-tearing claws, and was suddenly shocked. If Mo En used this move before, he would not be able to insist on Yi Tian's arrival. Can junior brother be able to stop it? Longhai Zhenjin asked himself. Shocked, Yi Tian lightly smashed the abyss-tearing claws. Then, Yi Tian slashed towards Mo En with a knife. Call out, the Yuan divine ability Yin-Yang bipolar knife ripped apart the space and slashed towards Morn. But Mo En had a deep understanding of the great way of space, and he even noticed the strangeness of the Yin-Yang polar blade in advance. What a terrifying power, it can break my skin. Morn was shocked. He is very confident in his own defense. Those half-step true products joined forces with one-element defense before, because, compared, he is not afraid of those half-step true ancestors, and no amount of them can threaten him. But Yi Tian only hit him with one blow, and he didn't hit him head-on, he just slashed across his body, but he was also able to cut through his skin. This kind of power is too terrifying. Ask for flowers. Suddenly, Yi Tian slashed towards Mo En with a long knife, and quickly collided with Mo En. Boom! Mo En's body flew upside down, and his body showed signs of cracking. He is injured. How is it possible? How can the half-step true ancestor have such terrifying power? He is only an ordinary race, and I am an abyss monster. How can he break the shackles and possess such terrifying physical power? 1. Morn couldn't believe it. Escape. He didn't want to fight anymore. He only fought against Yi Tian twice. He had already seen that Yi Tian's strength was above him. He cherishes his life very much. Even if he has the hope of defeating Yi Tian, he will not really fight against such geniuses. What if he dies? He has a bright future, and he is even expected to become a supreme Taoist ancestor in the future, so there is no need to risk his life and death to fight. Call out. Mo En tore the space and escaped. Yi Tian told True Monarch Longhai to leave, and then chased and killed Mo En. In the blink of an eye, Yi Tian and Mo En disappeared. 10 minutes later, Morn roared, "Your strength is stronger than me, but you can't kill me. Why do you keep chasing me? You are wasting time. Abyss monsters are difficult to kill, unless you are far stronger than me, only hope to kill me. It's like this, I won't hide my strength." Yi Tian responded lightly. Breakthrough. Yi Tian slammed away casually. I saw that the void where Morn was located cracked, and Morn's body also cracked abruptly. A terrifying force spread to Morn's body and soul, seriously injuring him. This is Taoism. Morn was terrified. This is not the source of supernatural powers, but Taoism. Half-step true ancestor can perform Taoism. What is the concept? Moreover, Yi Tian's Taoism is obviously a great achievement or even a perfect state. The power is terrifying. Have you entered the talent pool? Morn thought of the possibility. Talented Ancestor Pond, that was the place he had dreamed of entering, but he was not qualified to enter, and even the Imperial Beast sect did not have a place. In an instant, he became jealous, went crazy, and wanted to kill Yi Tian. But he ran even more crazy. Yi Tian, who used the air-splitting technique, was severely injured with just one blow. This is the power of the Tao technique. He had to flee, or he would surely die. Yi Tian is a pity that he didn't kill Mo En with one blow. The reason why he didn't use Taoism before was because he didn't want to be exposed in front of Longhai Zhenjin. Now there are only the two of them here, so even if he uses Taoism, he won't be able to do it. Reveal what? As long as Morn is killed, no one will know that he can do magic. Chapter 1040 Kill Morn. Tear. Yi Tian performed the air-splitting technique again, tearing apart Morn's abyss monster body again. However, Mo En also had a life-saving treasure on his body, so he would not be easily killed by Yi Tian. I saw Mo En's body blooming, and the broken body was about to recover again. Immediately, Morn activated an escape-type void treasure on his body, instantly tore the void, and disappeared across the void at an unimaginable speed. This escape-type void treasure is not simple. Even the top true ancestors are difficult to hunt down Mo En. It is the only top escape treasure on Mo En's body. Even some Taoist ancestors who have just been promoted to have no tracking ability may not be able to successfully hunt down Morn. If Yi Tian could only move this chaotic supernatural power in the void and had no other means, he would not be able to catch up with Mo En. Even if Yi Tian had used the speed-type source magic power, he couldn't track it, and even there was no trace. If it weren't for this, the escaping void treasure would not be recognized as a top life-saving object. If Morn was not afraid of falling, 323, he would not be afraid to use this life-saving object that had not been used for countless years. But he underestimated Yi Tian by a lot. Yi Tian also has the Tao-level natural talents, which are related to speed and space, and Yi Tian has recently trained them according to these two natural talents. A Taoist technique involving movement, space escape. Space escape is Yi Tian's current Tao technique other than space crack. He has only practiced space crack and space escape. It's not that he doesn't want to practice more Tao techniques, but because Tao techniques are difficult to practice. If you spend too much time cultivating multi-door Taoism, it will waste time and lead to not being proficient in each Taoism. Therefore, it is the most reasonable situation to be proficient in the two arts at present. In addition, the Taoist arts he has acquired are not many, most of them are relatively garbage Taoist arts, which are only better than the high-grade original supernatural powers, so there is no need to waste time to cultivate. Because of this, he only practiced space splitting and space escape. The air splitting technique can be used to attack, and the space escape technique can be used to escape and hunt down. These two techniques are enough for Yi Tian to deal with most situations. In front of Yi Tian, who has space escape, even if Mo En used the top escape type void treasure, he couldn't completely block Yi Tian's investigation. Swish! Yi Tian regarded the void as nothing, easily broke through the void, and his body instantly crossed the incomparably far distance of the void, chasing the trace of Mo En, and chasing and killing the past. Somewhere in the core area of the Promise Abyss Shard, Mo En's body came out of the space, and he breathed a sigh of relief. It should be to get rid of that half-step true ancestor. But immediately, his expression changed. This is the core area of the Promise Abyss fragment. Morn was shocked. You must know that before the senior officials of the Imperial Beast sect were born, the core area was a restricted area for them. The rules here are very powerful, and I am afraid that it is difficult to extend the rules of the quasi-Tao world, so the Abyss Lord here can exert a strong strength, and does not need to sleep. Before, a disciple of the Beast Master sect came here and was directly swallowed by an Abyss Lord. Get out of here quickly, or it's dangerous. Morn thought. Suddenly, the space ripples, and a figure emerges. What, you're chasing after you? Morn was shocked. He used his only top-notch escape type void treasure void Kashapa, and it was a purposeless shuttle. Because the shuttle was too far away, it was difficult for him to control himself to shuttle to the core area of the infinite abyss. But he never imagined that even if it was like this, Yi Tian would be able to chase and kill him. What kind of means did he rely on? He can't think of it. After all, even if Yi Tian has treasures like void Kasapa, there is no way to control the shuttle direction. He didn't think much about it, but continued to escape. Hit hard, recover, hit hard, recover. Morn persisted, completely relying on the life-saving objects, and fled indiscriminately. Not long after, Yi Tian chased and killed Mo En and came to an abyss cliff. The abyss cliff is a relatively common terrain of the infinite abyss, but Morn saw this abyss cliff with some fear and some hope. Others may not know what this abyss cliff represents, but he is very clear. In the core area of the infinite abyss fragment, an abyss cliff often represents the territory of an abyss lord. Those abyss lords like to stay in such a place, and they are not weak abyss lords. After all, there are not many abyss cliffs. The abyss lord who can really occupy an abyss cliff territory is definitely not the weaker lord, but a relatively powerful abyss lord. Just as Yi Tian and Mo En approached the abyss cliff, a terrifying aura came out from under the abyss cliff. Abyss lord, Yi Tian frowned, but did not retreat. And Mo En gritted his teeth and rushed over. He wanted to use the abyss lord to deal with Yi Tian. After all, his current identity is an abyss monster, and the abyss lord is also promoted from the abyss monster. Even if he trespassed on the abyss lord's territory, it is a big sin, but at least it is better than Yi Tian, because Yi Tian is not an abyss creature. Non-abyss creatures, once they enter the infinite abyss, are definitely real enemies and will be hostile to the abyss lord. It is very likely that the abyss lord will deal with Yi Tian, but will not deal with him. But this is a gamble. If the gamble is wrong, he may be really finished, but it is better than running away all the time. He really couldn't hold on anymore. If he escaped for a while, he would really be dead. I am the Lord of the Abyss, Enrodobas, you actually broke into my territory, death penalty. A roar came. Then, an abyss lord like an ancient demonic cow appeared in the void, and his breath surpassed that of ordinary abyss monsters by many times. Even an abyss monster like Mo En was far inferior to this abyss lord. For example, some true ancestors in the chaos are like ants in front of this abyss lord, and its strength is probably equivalent to some true ancestors in the later stages of the Great Tao. But in terms of realm, Enrodobas is just the Abyss Lord in the early days of the Great Tao. As soon as this Abyss Lord appeared, it locked Yi Tian and Mo En, but after seeing Yi Tian, most of the aura locked on Yi Tian, and obviously hated Yi Tian even more. At this moment, Yi Tian used an illusion magic power on Mo En, Endless Sinking. Endless Sinking is Xiao Yu's supernatural power, but this supernatural power was taught to Xiao Yu by Yi Tian, and Yi Tian is more proficient in this supernatural power, and has already cultivated to the extreme level. Of course, there is nothing to do with Morn in the Endless Sinking, but it can block Morn for a moment. And this moment is enough to change a lot of things. Wow, Mo En's body froze and was trapped by the illusion for a moment, and then Yi Tian displayed several Dao-level natural talents one after another. Hell, Crystallis Ice World, the world of life and death. These 3 Dao-level natal talents have the effect of trapping people, and I saw that the 3 Dao-level natal talents were transformed into 3 5.8 domain worlds and locked Morn. Then, Yi Tian fully motivated Yin Sha, the sect-level natural talent, and directly killed Mo En's soul. It is a pity that sound killing is only a talent, not a Taoist technique, so the threat is very limited, but in this way, it still hurt Morn again. Then, Sky Splitter attacked Morn again. This time, under the various attacks, Morn finally couldn't bear it anymore, and his body turned into pieces. Before dying, Morn had a thought. How can this person have so many Dao-level natural talents? Unfortunately, he has no chance to think. Morn died, Yi Tian confronted the Abyss Lord Enrodobas, and he was not afraid that the Abyss Lord would recognize his Dao-level natural talent, because the Abyss Lord here was born later and did not understand the outside world. Where do you know what Dao-level natal talent? Therefore, he dared to use a door-level natural talent so boldly. However, this Abyss Lord will definitely not let him go easily.